And getting it going in Springfield means a winning attitude, something that Randy Ball has brought to the Springfield campus. The Bears are off to a great start in 1999 with Indiana transfer quarterback Jay Rogers leading the way. But Todd Berry has been remarkable at Illinois State, taking the Redbirds from mediocrity to the playoffs. He's got quarterback Kevin Glenn, one of the most exciting players in America at any
Kevin has a great presence on our team, and that he's really the catalyst of what our offense does. We have 10 starters back on offense, but Kevin makes the whole thing run. Without him, there really is no offense.
Tonight, the nation's premier 1AA football conference makes its television debut. It's Illinois State and Southwest Missouri State. The Ozarks are known for country music, great fall scenery, and tonight it presents you a great college football game. The nationally ranked Illinois State Redbirds are in Springfield, Missouri to take on the Southwest Missouri State Bears at Plaster Field. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mitch Holtis, along with former college player and NFL player J.C. Pearson. Illinois State and SMS meeting tonight. Illinois State, nationally ranked, SMS, an excellent football team as well.
Both teams very good and both led by the quarterback position. Both quarterbacks are very effective, but yet very different in their styles.
Let me ask you about SMS quarterback Jay Rogers, an Indiana transfer, very efficient.
Very efficient, very smart, tough-nosed quarterback who does not like to make mistakes. He is very efficient, and thus far in 1999 has yet to throw an interception.
But one of the most exciting players in the country at any level is on the other side, Kevin Glenn of Illinois State.
Kevin Glenn is the man, and they absolutely love this kid at Illinois State. He does it all, and he does a lot of it. He can throw it, he can run it, and he is very effective when he has the ball in his hands. And thus far, already in the second game of his junior season, Mitch, he's already the all-time career offensive leader in Illinois State history.
JC, football coaches love speed. Illinois State loves Avion Kaysen.
Avion Kaysen is explosive. They want to get this guy to the outside, around the corner, because they feel that every time he has the ball in his hands, he can take it to the house.
For Southwest Missouri State, they'll throw a bunch of backs at you, but Jason Ringen has been very, very consistent.
Very consistent. Not a real flashy runner. Very strong and powerful. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry and 115 yards a game.
Well, we got you covered tonight here in Springfield. Down on the sidelines, here's Rich Baldinger.
Hello, Mitch. Great night for football tonight. We've been talking about the running game, but I'll tell you what, if it's going to happen for either team, you're going to have to control the inside three. That's the heart of each defense here. We're taking a look here. P.J. Jones, number 48, on the pressure. Next, we got Corky Martin here coming up inside, making the play. Another one on the defensive line. One of the top players there, Mr. Luis Alamazar, coming through on the pressure. These are the guys Illinois State are going to have to block. On the other side here, Southwest Missouri State, they're going to have to do a good job of protecting the inside there too. Over Illinois State on defensive line, you got the linebacker Galen Scott inside there. You got Damian Gregory inside, and also the big defensive tackle, Mr. Finn. Three guys you're going to have to control if you want to run the ball. Back to you, Mitch.
And Finn is an NFL prospect. Todd Berry has never beaten Southwest Missouri State. Something he's going to try to do tonight here in Springfield, Missouri. It's the Southwest Missouri. He's done an outstanding job at Illinois State. You see his record of 15-22, but that's a bit misleading. Last year, he led the Redbirds to their very first appearance in the 1AA football playoffs. He's taken Illinois State from being one of the doormats in the Gateway to one of the favorites, and his team right now ranked in the national polls number 11 in one poll and number 13 in one of the others. And Randy Ball, quite simply, is the most successful Division I AA coach over the past 3 years. He did that at Western Illinois. Interestingly enough, he went from one conference school to another, JC, and that's an interesting maneuver by any coach.
Yeah, that's more of a transfer, and you don't see that very much. That's like a guy who is transferring from one school to the other. But the good thing about that is Randy Ball obviously knows all of the teams in the conference.
Sure does. As you take a look at one of the best kickers in the nation in Travis Bronner, a 1AA All-American. And you talk about transfers, and Randy Ball really did a great job at Western Illinois implementing a lot of 1A transfers into his program. He has done the same here at Southwest Missouri State.
And that's obviously why he's been so successful, because anytime you can get guys who are 1A players to come down and come into your program, that is obviously going to give your program a boost.
And Avion Kaysen, one of the fastest players in the country at any level, out of St. Petersburg, Florida, the team's fastest player and one of the best athletes. So we are set and ready to go in Springfield. You'll enjoy this one. This should be an entertaining game. Last year it was 49-42. And we're underway, and the very strong leg of Bronner This will be returned by Kason. It's a fake reverse by Kason, and he breaks a couple tackles. He's got the kicker to beat and gets by him, and now Kason breaks away. He's got one more man to beat. Kason may bring this all the way back, breaking about 5 different tackles. It's a touchdown for Illinois State. A tremendous return by Avion Kason.
And that's that speed we talked about in the open, Mitch. I tell you, there is just no substitution for speed. Got to the outside, faked the reverse, got outside, and the rest is history. Just athletic ability and pure speed.
Let's count how many tackles he eluded in this return.
There's the fake reverse right there. There's one missed tackle, another missed tackle. The rest is speed. He's going to break another tackle right there and just run away from these guys right here. Take a look at that. That is explosion and burst, another missed tackle, and that is something I'm sure Coach Ball is definitely not happy with. Anytime you can miss tackles or are missing tackles on any type of special teams, that gives your team chance to give up a big play, and that's what they do right there, the opening kickoff.
I told you you would be entertained, so keep your dial set right here as the point after is kicked by Jake Strader for Illinois State, and the Redbirds, just seconds into the game, get a kickoff return for a touchdown of over 95 yards by Avion Kason, who has provided big plays for the Redbirds throughout his entire career at ISU.
And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to come out and establish themselves early, get on top of Southwest Missouri, and force them to get out of their game plan. And it looks like they're starting to do it right off the bat.
Randy Ball, such a solid coach throughout his career at Western Illinois, but trying to figure it out on the sidelines.
And what he's telling his ball club is, hey, let's not lose our poise. It's just one play. Let's come back and let's make it up. Let's return the ball ourselves and get on the scoreboard.
And JC, quite honestly, they can do it. They've got some speed on their end and some big play type players as well. As this game being played on an artificial surface, we'll talk about it later, but a very unique artificial surface, but that time with straight ahead speed. It really helped kind of enhance the speed of Avion Kason.
When you've got a guy back there that has the speed of Kason, you've got to be very disciplined in your kickoff coverage. You've got to stay in your lanes, and everyone has to do their own jobs and make the tackle when the tackle presents itself.
The longest ever return by an Illinois State kick returner against Southwest Missouri State, and the first kickoff return for a touchdown by the Redbirds in 2 years. And Jake Strader, he, like Travis Bronner of Southwest Missouri State, one of the nation's best kickers. And very unique, these two guys are both the punter and the place kicker for their teams. As you take a look at the return men, Tacoma Fontaine to Southwest Missouri State. Back to take this kick. A deep kick. Fontaine is going to go to a knee 5 yards deep in the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Southwest Missouri State Bears. There's Jay Rogers. Started his career at Indiana. At one time, he was a Big Ten Player of the Week for the Hoosiers, JC.
And obviously, as we talked about in the open, he's a guy that does not like to make mistakes. Very smart quarterback, very heady, and makes very good decisions with the ball.
And the guys that he'll have with him is SMS huddling on the sidelines, and we'll go without a huddle on the field here. Jason Ringen is in the backfield along with Demetrius Smith as you take a look at Rogers under center, Aaron Light. And the first snap from scrimmage goes to Ringen. And Ringen will pick up a few as Damian Gregory, the first man there for a very quick Illinois State defense. Let's take a look at the way they line up. This is the offensive line, a pretty good group, a big group. Staley's 297 at left guard. Herringer at 292 at the right guard spot. Here's the skill people for SMS. Now they're going to move people in and out here. Jeff Hewitt is a star there. He's a game breaker, much like Kason is, and has great speed at the flanker spot. Smith out of the game now as Bino Gore in the backfield as they show motion to the top of your screen. 2nd and 7. Play action fake. Rogers and finds Ringen for a first down. He'll advance up to the 37 and pick up about 10 yards. Here's a look at the Illinois State defense. Now, this is an attacking 4-4 scheme, kind of a unique approach in college football. Devin Finn is an NFL prospect at 280, 6'7", 280 at left tackle. But they have a lot of speed, and where they really will attack you with these guys. 4 different linebackers, and they'll come at you from all different angles. Scott is solid as a rock in the middle at 30 tackles, but all 4 of those linebackers will mix and match, and they'll blitz you from all angles. First and 10 for the Bears. It's SMS. 7-0 here early. Illinois State with a kick return to start the game. Demetrius Smith lines up as a wing. To the bottom of your screen, Ringana trying to get to the outside. And Galen Scott, who I just mentioned, will get a tackle and no gain for SMS.
And SMS, they want to come in and hammer the ball at this 4-4 attacking defense. And what they want to do is take that ball straight ahead. It's going to be tough to get around the corner against this attacking, blitzing defense. And in talking to them, the coaches in the pregame, they wanted to hammer it straight ahead, and that's probably what they're going to have to do.
Second and 10 for the Bears. Here's a look at Jason Ringana, outstanding sophomore from Iowa City, Iowa. Coming into the game with 350 yards. As Rogers now looks like he's calling an audible at the line of scrimmage. Quick drop and finds the speedy Hewitt. Hewitt trying to get away from the corner. Steps out of bounds at the 48, but near an SMS first down.
And that's the best way to get the ball outside, especially against this 4-4 defense with 8 men in the box. It's going to be tough to run. If you want to get the ball outside, it's good to run those quick 3-step hitches outside, those quick 3-step outs, so the pressure doesn't get to the quarterback.
JC, let me ask you about this 4-4 defense. A bit unique. We see a lot of 4-3 play. Why a 4-4?
Well, obviously, they want to utilize their speed and athletic ability on the defensive side. They said that they want to be aggressive. They do not want to sit back and allow the offense to dictate to them. They want to bring the house, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing.
Sweep, Ringana is chased down. As excellent pursuit by the Redbirds. Is getting to the point of attack. Ryan Zakola, junior out of Trent, Michigan.
We can take a look at this defense that we just talked about. Very fast, very aggressive, and look how spread out they are across the line of scrimmage. These guys want to create one-on-one matchups and use their speed and quickness to beat the defender, and you can see there are 4 or 5 defenders around the football right now.
We also saw the free safety, Sam Young, fly up and make a stop on the play. Second and 10 for the Bears at Southwest Missouri State, trailing 7-0, 3 minutes into the game here in Springfield. Rogers wants Hewitt isolated, and the pass is caught. And Hewitt is all the way down. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Jeff Hewitt burning the free safety Sam Young in the left corner, Armando Andrade with the long pass play.
And that's one of the problems you have with the defense that is blitzing and attacking and 8 men in the box consistently is those corners outside are going to be matched up man-to-man, whether they're in zone or in man. They're going to have to lock up man-to-man. You see the 3-step drop, and instead of running the quick hitch, they run the fade, and you can see the cornerback right here bit on the hitch that they ran earlier and gets beat down the field.
How much pressure is there on these two corners as Armando Andrade got beat on that play?
Tremendous pressure, Mitch. Anytime you're playing a defense like this where the front 8 are in the box and trying to get to the quarterback, the burden falls on the cornerback. So if you don't have corners that can play man-to-man coverage out there, this defense is not going to work.
Sean Adams in the lineup now, lining up in the backfield. So is Brad St. Louis as the Bears show a power formation. Ringing a nice hole. And he'll get to the 10-yard line and pick up 4 yards on first down.
They got to stay away, doesn't it?
They're doing exactly what they game planned to do, Mitch. They wanted to come out, pound the ball, and then throw the ball quick. Everything has worked to perfection thus far. And as you see, the quick hitter inside is set up by the 2 quick passes that they just threw.
Good job by the Bear offensive line thus far. Bears can actually pick up a first down before they get to the end zone. It's 2nd and 6 here. Smith in the backfield and Ringana there as well. This time it's an option. Rogers elects to keep. Rogers angling, and they're going to give him a touchdown. It is a touchdown for Jay Rogers of Southwest Missouri State. His first rushing touchdown of the season, and a good decision on the option.
And a great drive by Southwest Missouri. They wanted to come out, establish themselves, and control the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what they're doing. They run the option right at you right here, and we talked about Jay Rogers being such a smart player. You see he fakes the pitch right there and just runs to the corner where there's no defenders. He's just a foot race to the corner. Jay Rogers gets in the end zone.
Great replay. It also shows you the value of downfield blocking on the option play.
That's exactly right.
As Travis Bronner will try to tie the game. I told you that this could be a high-scoring affair. These two teams scored 91 points last year combined. And the kick is good, and the game is tied. We are tied at 7, and we've only played 4 minutes, seconds. The big play, a pass play for Jay Rogers to Jay Hewitt, a very speedy flanker for the SMS Bears. Cason just returned a kick for Illinois State for a touchdown. This one he mishandles, and he'll have to go to a knee. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Well, SMS completing an excellent drive and completing the touchdown play. Let's go down to Rich Balding.
Yeah, Mitch, we talked about the smash mouth football up front here. Coach Randy Ball, he wants to do it up front. And you're going to watch Jason Steele at left guard here. And we got number 74 coming around here, too, Jason Herringer. This is what they're going to have to do. I talked about it before the game. You got to control the big guys up front. Here we go on the touchdown play. Again, they're taking Damon Gregory, supposed to be the lead player there for Illinois State. Wash him across here, make an easy run for the touchdown.
The other thing I noticed, Rich, is they went left almost every time they run a power play away from Devin Finn, the big 200, 300-pound tackle. There's a play over the middle to Steve Costro, and Illinois State on their first play from scrimmage will gain yardage all the way up to the 37, again of 17.
And that's the tough thing about defending this Illinois State offense is they've got guys running all over the place. They've used multiple sets, 3 wide receivers, and you can see against a zone it is very tough. You've got to be very disciplined because you're going to have guys running all over the place.
I want to ask you this because you have to pick your poison when you defend this, either to play it man-to-man or zone. And SMS told you they'd zone it tonight. Why?
They said they're going to come out in zone and try to get some pressure on quarterback Glenn using a zone defense. They don't feel that they can match up man-to-man with these receivers.
Quarterback draw by Kevin Glenn out of the shotgun. And he'll gain short yardage of 3 yards, running into Dan Adams, the right defensive tackle for Southwest Missouri State. This offense of Todd Berry in Illinois State, very, very difficult. How important is it to line up correctly against it because there's so many different formations?
And not only is there so many different formations, there's so many different personnel changes. Sometimes they're in 3 wide receivers, sometimes they've got 2 backs, sometimes they have a tight end, sometimes they don't. So it is very difficult not only to line up, but to know what personnel is in the ballgame.
As you say that, the Redbirds line up in a 2 backfield set with 3 wide receivers, but it's going to be a false start. Whatever formation you're in, you can't jump too soon.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down, second down.
Let's take a look at the penalty. It's former Gateway Conference Player of the Week, Dan Hama, with a rare mistake. A junior out of Brunswick, Ohio. Not very often does a lineman get Player of the Week, but Hama did a couple weeks ago. But that time will put his football team back 5 yards.
For an offensive lineman to get the Offensive Player of the Week, Mitch, I tell you, he's got to be smashing some people and getting some pancakes, I tell you.
Again, the Redbirds spread it out. They have 2nd and 11 here. You see the time moving. We're still early in the first quarter, and the game tied at 7. Stretch play. Zone blocking. James in trouble, and the Bears slam him and take him down. Maybe a gain of 1. Maybe. But that time, SMS does a good job of flying to the football. P.J. Jones, the first one there.
Good job of gang tackling and using their quickness also to get up the field. As you can see, Walter James coming right at you, but there's nowhere to go. SMS defenders all over the place. And the interesting thing, Walter James is the first cousin of Indianapolis coach running back Edgerrin James.
That's some good genetics there. And Edgerrin James' brothers is on this team. He's injured.
He's their best cornerback. He's not playing tonight because of injury, but he is their best cornerback.
Kevin Glenn to throw, fires a rocket, and the pass is incomplete.
Now that is a bullet, Mitch. He almost stuck the ball in there. Literally, the receiver was falling to the ground. Kevin Glenn stuck the ball right in there. We've got a flag down in the backfield.
It's holding on Illinois State.
Holding call.
And Randy Ball more than likely would decline this penalty. It's third. That play was 3rd and 9. As Ricky Garrett was the intended receiver. Ricky Garrett, an outstanding wide receiver for the Redbirds of Illinois State. The Bears will decline the penalty.
4th down.
And we'll have our first punt of the year. As Jake Strader, who was the All-Gateway Football Conference punter, you take a look at Randy Ball making that decision. Strader, the All-Gateway Conference punter a year ago, will try to do his duty here for the Redbirds.
They've got to be very careful with Jeff Hewitt as the return guy. He was actually the Conference Player of the Week last year as well, and we saw what he did from a receiving standpoint. He's a guy that's got a lot of speed, and if he gets a crease, Katie bar the door.
Well, it's a fire drill. Illinois State had its regular personnel on the field, and all of a sudden they scramble out the punt unit, meaning SMS almost blocks the punt. A poor punt that will get a nice Illinois State bounce. And will be down at the 26-yard line. as a poor punt and not much hang time. Might have been partially blocked by Southwest Missouri State. It's a 7-7 tie here in Springfield. 8:48 left in the first quarter. In the first quarter in Springfield, the nationally ranked Redbirds of Illinois State getting a long kick return for a touchdown, but Southwest Missouri State came back and answered with an 80-yard, 8-play drive. As you look at Jay Rogers, as the Bears huddling again on the sideline and line up without a huddle here. Jason Ringen and Demetrius Smith in the backfield, this time split behind Rogers. They find Ringen out of the backfield, but Illinois State defends it immediately. Good coverage by Ryan Zakola of the Redbirds of Illinois State. You might ask, who and what is 2Win Sports Marketing? That information and much more is available on their website. Hey, dial it up, www.2win.com. That's www.2win.com. In sports marketing, 2Win means you win too. 2nd and 8 for Southwest Missouri State. They stay with Smith and Ringana in the backfield. Demetrius Smith, as you see him lining up tight, a 275-pound fullback.
That's like having an offensive guard lining up as a running back.
And that guard is trying to lead block, but Illinois State blows up the play. Great penetration by the Redbirds.
And that's the philosophy of this Illinois State defense. They want to use their speed and their quickness to create havoc. And you can see they've got guys coming from all over the place. And these guys are very tough to run against with this 4-4 aggressive blitzing defense. And these guys are going to be coming all night long. That time, Damian Gregory just defeats the offensive lineman and runs down the running back Ringana.
Damian Gregory played at Indiana University as well. He has a chance of tackling his old teammate, because his old teammate for the Indiana Hoosiers is Jay Rogers, the quarterback for Southwest Missouri State. So this is like the Indiana spring game of 1997. Indiana playing Indiana. Rogers has a man wide open, Chance Thurman, in the open field. And all the way down to the Illinois State 39-yard line. Chased down by Ryan Zakola, but that time the Bears use a crossing pattern for big yardage.
Jay Rogers, cool as a cucumber, sits in that pocket, and he's very efficient, like we continue to say. You see him just take a play action fake right here, and he knows exactly where he's going with that football and just throws it right on the money for a big gain. Interesting also, we were talking about Damian Gregory and Jay Rogers being teammates. Gregory is being blocked tonight by number 78, Steely, who was also an Indiana transfer. So it's definitely like spring practice.
32-yard pass play. This is going to be a counter draw. It is Ringana, and he'll advance across to the 34-yard line. Sam Young, the free safety, made the tackle, but the SMS Bears pick up 5 yards on first down. 7-7 tie here. We're midway through the first quarter. What do you like about Jay Rogers as a quarterback?
Jay Rogers has a lot of poise, Mitch. You can tell that he is in control of his football team, and he has a lot of poise. He comes up to the line of scrimmage, and he knows exactly what he is going to do with the football. We see him reading the defenses right here, and that's a very good sign from a quarterback that he can read a defense.
Rogers 5 for 5 passing. This time it's going to be a reverse. This is Hewitt, Jeff Hewitt. And he is up and looks like he's got a first down to the Illinois State 26-yard line.
SMS is doing a very good job so far, keeping this aggressive defense on its heels. And you can see now they use the change of direction. They just run the little reverse right here. And that's what you want to do against attacking defenses, to get them coming upfield thinking one thing, and then you hit them with a counter.
And I've seen a lot of teams use that. They'll start that guy in motion, and it's almost like Canadian football. He is hitting.
And he gets a running start, and he gets the ball, and he is heading downfield as quickly as possible.
It's like I saw Penn State use it against Arizona in the first week of the season. Ringing in the backfield. Smith was close. Ringing up behind him. Rogers with the play fake. And overthrows Tacoma Fontaine this time. The first miss of the evening by Jay Rogers.
And they're going to attack the outsides. They're going to attack the flats, because in this 4-4 defense, and if they're playing zone coverage, the outside linebackers are going to be responsible for getting under those out routes. And it's very tough and a lot of ground to coverage for an outside linebacker who's thinking run to get under an out route.
These two teams have 1 loss apiece, but both a 1A competition. You see the Redbirds, Ryan Zakola, one of the leaders on defense. The Redbirds lost last week to the University of Minnesota, while Tulsa University beat Southwest Missouri State in the first game of the year for the Maroons. Proctor now in the backfield, along with Ringana. Ringana gets the call. And on 2nd and 10, Ringana will pick up about 4 yards down to the Illinois State 22. Galen Scott there for the Redbird defense.
Galen is a Scott that just makes. Galen Scott is just a kid that makes plays. The coaching staff said he is not a great athlete, but when you get him on the football field, his instincts take over, and he is always around the football.
Randy Ball, his brother.
Russ Ball.
Yeah, been in the NFL a long time. He was with the Chiefs for a long time. Now he's with the Minnesota Vikings in their front office.
He gave Coach Ball a hard time, telling him how much he looks like Russ. And obviously we were players when Russ was with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm not sure that's a compliment either way. Rogers to throw a blitz, and it is caught by Fontaine on a quick slant, and Fontaine looks like he's short of a first down, but he's up to the Illinois State 17. They'll mark it at the 16, and this will be close to a first down. It's 4th down and a yard, JC, for SMS at the 16.5-yard line.
And it looks like they're going to go for it. And as they wanted to do coming in, they wanted to be a tough, aggressive, smash-mouth football team. And smash-mouth football teams make 4th and 1 almost every time, Mitch.
No hesitation by the Bears. Out of the huddle quickly. Proctor and Ringana. You see in the eye. Long count by Rogers. Ringana has the first down, breaks a tackle, and may get a touchdown out of this. He takes his cornerback all the way to the end zone.
Good, strong running by Ringana. And that's exactly what they wanted to get accomplished and come in tonight's ball game and do. Pound the football at Illinois State, and right now that offensive line is doing a tremendous job.
Ringana not real flashy as there's a Redbird down on the field. But take a look at the replay. This is 4th and 1.
And he never stops moving his feet. He keeps his head up, keeps running. As we can see from this angle, he never stops moving his feet. Looks like he stopped right there, but the feet just keep piling, keep driving, and next thing you know, he's dragging a defender into the end zone for 6 points.
And there's the reaction of Randy Ball. Great decision, not only a first down, but a touchdown. 9 plays, 72 yards. For the SMS Bears, a drive of 80 yards for a touchdown, and now a drive of 72 yards for a score. And here's a look at the injured Illinois State Redbirds. Still not sure who is down. David Bull, they tell us, is down. A backup tackle, a sophomore at Fort Byron, Illinois.
2 very impressive drives by SMS. Very ball-controlled type of offense, and the best thing about that also is not only do they get points on the board, but they keep Kevin Glenn and the Illinois State offense on the sidelines.
SMS, one of the things that concerned Illinois State before this game was the physical play of SMS and how physical they can be. Not only with their linemen, you saw Ringana, not a real big back, but he's 5'11", 205. He'll come right at you.
He runs very, very strong, as we saw. Very powerful, not flashy, as we talked about, but he just gets the job done, and that's what SMS wanted to do. Randy Ball wanted to come in here and improve the toughness of this football team, and that's what he told them the first day he got here, is we've got to work on our toughness, our aggressiveness, and obviously it's paying off.
A scene no coach wants to see, and that is Todd Berry, one of his players, being carried off. Todd Berry was at East Carolina for a while. Interesting note here. Todd Berry actually was interested in the Southwest Missouri State job. He grew up in Miami, Oklahoma, played at the University of Tulsa, and there was some thought that he would have been the SMS coach when Jesse Branch left several years ago. But instead, they went to Del Miller from the Kansas State staff, who has since been let go, and Randy Ball, now the mentor here in Springfield. But there was a time when it was thought that Todd Berry would be the head coach here in Springfield.
Wow. There might be some hard feelings there. And interesting enough, in talking to Coach Berry before the game, he said that there are some ill feelings and bad blood between these two teams because his players remember last year when SMS came back to win that game 49-42. There were a lot of talking, a lot of taunting, and a lot of jawing, and his players remember that.
Travis Bronner with the point after, and Southwest Missouri State in 2 possessions has 2 touchdowns. Ringana 8 carries, 29 yards. 4:52 left in the first. The Bears lead the nationally ranked Birds by 7. Under 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Ringana, the team leader this year, with 6 touchdowns for the Bears. Kayson's going to bring it out. Fakes the reverse again, and this time he gets powdered at the 10-yard line. Great coverage by the Bears. Getting down the field to make the hit. Kevin Hunt, who already partially blocked the punt on a hit there for SMS, and he had some help as well.
and you can't have any hesitation on the kickoff return. You see the slight bobble right there, and he's not really running to fake the reverse, and you can see Kevin Hunt just kind of falls into that, as well as number 19, Robert Rose, the wide receiver, who was just in the right place at the right time and came up with the big play.
Now all of a sudden, Illinois State with poor field position. One back in the formation behind the dangerous Kevin Glenn. And this is Kason, and Kason will gain just a yard. Tell me about the zone blocking scheme of Illinois State. A lot of zone blocking when they run stretch plays out of that one-back set.
And the reason why, they just want to get a hat on a hat, whoever's in that zone, and try to create a crease for guys like Kason and James, because those guys are very explosive, and all they need is a little crack, and they can take it to the house.
4:17 left in the quarter. 14-7 Southwest Missouri. After Illinois State scored the first points in the game. Glenn, quick pass to his favorite receiver, Ricky Garrett. Garrett makes his 8th catch of the season, his first of the night, and that's a gain of 8.
And what they're trying to do is just find the flow, find the rhythm right now, and settle down. So they're going to go to the quick passing attack, the quick hitters inside, and as you can see, as they start getting a little more comfortable, we can look for their offense to start opening up a little more.
Interesting to hear Todd Berry talk about this kid. You know, you always want your quarterback to be kind of a leader, but that's a look at Ricky Garrett. But the leader of this football team, no doubt, is Kevin Glenn.
Without a doubt, this is a guy that they say demands respect on and off the football field by each and every member of this football team.
Walter James has stood up and driven down Sean Lockhart of SMS on the stop on a 3rd and 1 play for Illinois State. It will be a loss of about 4 yards back to the 15.
And that's an example of them trying to overpower, use their size and strength versus ILS's speed and quickness. And this time, and it seems like right now, the size and strength is winning out. You see right now, they are bringing the house, and they just don't have enough guys to block on that 3rd and 1 play, and a great tackle by Sean Lockhart.
To punt for Illinois State now is Jake Strader, while Jeff Hewitt, who already has made an impact in this game as a flanker, will try to bring this punt back. Excellent punt by Illinois State. Hewitt's going to try to return it. Gets a great block at the point of the punt reception, but Illinois State chases him down at the 48-yard line. Good coverage by Marcus White, a senior for the Redbirds punt coverage team.
And they've got to get a lot of hats and a lot of white jerseys around this guy, because this guy can definitely take it to the house. And how about the no fear in catching that ball? He had a couple Redbirds all over him in his face, but he still refuses to fair catch it and tries to get anything he can out of it.
44-yard punt by the Illinois State punter Jake Strader, one of the best in the country. You're looking at Jay Rogers. He's had 2 scores in 2 drives. 2:42 left in the quarter. As Southwest Missouri with a lead of a touchdown. Rogers scored on this option play earlier. This time it's defended. A 2-yard gain to midfield. Marcus White defending Jay Rogers that time.
SMS also using multiple formations and personnel. That time they had 1 back in the backfield, had a tight end and 2 wide receivers, so they were trips left and ran the option to the strong side.
And it looks like, JC, Illinois State really is overplaying the pitch man, making the quarterback keep the ball in the option, which he's done now twice in 2 consecutive plays when they've run the option.
And that's what they'd rather have. They'd rather have the quarterback running versus the running back. So as you said, Mitch, they're overplaying the running back, trying to make Rogers keep the ball.
All right, Rogers in the shotgun here. This is 2nd and 8. Inside of 2 minutes left in the quarter. Rogers with time, now being chased. He's going to unload it very near the line of scrimmage and threw it away. It'll be incomplete. Illinois State not arguing for a pass past the line of scrimmage. Rogers was very, very close. Sean Adams was the intended receiver up the field for Rogers.
Illinois State, that's what they want to do. They want to get upfield. As we take a look at it, we see that they can get some pressure on the quarterback. Guys are just coming inside, but they lose contain on him, and they can't afford to lose contain on a guy like Rogers because they had a receiver running wide open down the field. The ball just a little overthrown, but if they continue to let him get outside the pocket and set up, he's definitely going to hurt him.
And he was well 2 yards well behind the line of scrimmage. SMS now 1 of 2 on 3rd downs. They have 3rd and 8 here. The football right at midfield. Not a jumping Illinois State. Not a jump into the neutral zone. Rogers is going to be chased and will go out of bounds, but for no gain. But this may be a penalty on Illinois State. Hamilton Wells was trying to time a blitz And it looked like he jumped into the neutral zone prior to the snap. It is offsides on Illinois State. And instead of 3rd and 8, now the Bears will have 3rd and 3.
They have their entire offensive package available to them now. When it's 3rd and 8, obviously they're going to have to throw the ball to get 8 yards.
5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Those are penalties that you don't want to have because a 3rd and 3 is a lot easier to make, and the percentages are a lot higher than 3rd and 8.
Seems like the margin of this game for success is so slight. Those penalties can really, really turn a game around like this. Ringen and Smith in the backfield. Again, Smith, you see him at fullback. Kind of cheating toward the left side there. 275 pounds. A short roll. Now Rogers is going to keep it. Has the first down. Up to the 40 of Illinois State. Armando Andrade made the tackle for the Redbirds, but the Bears moved the chains.
You like to see the toughness out of quarterback Jay Rogers. No one's open, so he just tucks it and takes off. But here's a guy that he's got to be very careful because you don't want your quarterback taking too much punishment. So he's got to learn to slide, get the first down, know where that marker is, and get on the ground because you definitely don't want to continue to take punishment like this all game.
Minute 28 left in the first quarter. 14-7 Southwest Missouri. Take a look at Rogers again, this time with a long count, and the big fullback has it. Look out. 275 pounds trying to be chased down, and is at the 25. But after a gain of 15 yards, 185-pound Alfred Corbin, a cornerback, giving up 100 pounds to the big fullback.
That's a load, and I can tell you that Alfred Corbin was not a happy camper to see him coming through the line of scrimmage. They're accustomed to him just being the blocking back. This time they give it to him on the quick hitter, and take a look at this guy coming right at you. No one wants to tackle him, so the cornerback uses that old technique. I'm going to let him run by me and jump on his back. I'm not going to hit this guy head up.
Remember those kids, when you were a little kid, you'd play those backyard games, and there'd always be that big giant kid. Nobody could tackle, but 10 guys would pile on him.
But normally you catch up to those guys. This guy's still the giant kid.
Rogers has Fontaine slipping a tackle, and it will be goal to go for Southwest Missouri State down to the 6-yard line. Tacoma Fontaine with the catch, and SMS threatening to score again.
And they are definitely controlling the tempo of this football game. They're running the ball, running the option, throwing the quick hitters, and throwing those hitches outside. And the cornerbacks, they got beat earlier, so now they're a little leery of the hitch and go, are giving up a lot of room outside, and that's just a real easy throw out there, the quick three-step drop hitch.
Tacoma Fontaine, a weapon, came into the game with 150 yards receiving and a touchdown. Now the Bears have first down and goal to go at the 6. Smith in the backfield along with Ringen. This is Ringen, a huge hole, touchdown. Southwest Missouri State. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns for the Maroons.
And they are just dominating up front. The offensive lineman, Aaron Light, Jake Harriger just blowing the defensive line of ILS off the ball. There's a hole that I think I could have gotten through, Mitch. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, no, you got through. You're a defensive guy anyway. But that Southwest Missouri State offensive line, really, really fruitful at the point of attack. As you see Jason Ringen, who's liking the end zone. He had 5 before tonight. He's got 2 tonight. That's 7 already. And he's only played 3.5 games this year. Bronner will try the exclamation point. He got it. 21-7, a 6-play, 52-yard drive. All of a sudden now, the Bears have scored on drives of 80, a little under 80, and now a 62-yard drive. 21-7, let's take a look at the TD.
This offensive line is just dominating. Take a look at the hole right here. I mean, there is no one around. That is just an easy stroll into the end zone. I tell you, those offensive linemen, Owens, Steely, Light, Harriger, and Cron are just blowing this Illinois State defensive line completely off the ball.
And a great angle trap block by a pulling tackle, Justin Cron, who spanked Galen Scott, one of the better tacklers in the conference, to allow Ringen to get to the end zone. And Illinois State's got a problem. They got to figure out a way to try to slow down this SMS football team.
And that's the problem that you have when you go more towards speed and quickness and you give up that size and power, because when you get a strong physical football team that's going to come right at you, it's going to be tough with those undersized players.
Todd Berry, usually in this situation, he says, okay, well, we'll just go score then. That's what he's done in his past, because he has an explosive football team. Last week he was hammered by a very good Minnesota Gopher team, 55-7 up at the Metrodome. But he can put points on the board.
And he was concerned about the confidence coming into this ball game after last week's ball game. He said that he felt that those guys, that his team was kind of down and lacked a little confidence in that Minnesota game, and he hoped that it didn't carry over into tonight's ball game.
Travis Bronner will kick this one to Bolivar, Missouri. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Bronner has the propensity to do that. He'll hammer him deep. And a kid who may have a future beyond this level.
That makes it very easy on the kickoff coverage team. Anytime your kicker can kick it out of the end zone, there's definitely no threat of a return.
We've got the calculator working. We'll give you the total yardage after this play. It is as you might guess, skewed heavily in SMS's favor. Take a look at this.
Wow. That is domination, and that's what SMS wanted to do. They wanted to come in and control the ball and the clock.
200 yards in the first quarter. Glenn on the boot finds his tight end, Scott Preisker. And Preisker chased down at the 22. A lot of action, but just 2 yards. Dante King there for Southwest Missouri State. 200 yards in the first quarter. That's like an old Nebraska kind of day.
And not only does that fire up your offensive football team, but this defense is flying around. Now, when you get up 21-7 on a team and things are going all your way, I mean, your confidence level just skyrockets, and these guys are flying around right now.
Illinois State with 6 seconds on the first quarter clock. As play is stopped here. And there might be some kind of a malfunction with the clock. I think on the field they had a quarter. They're already signaling the end of the first quarter on the clock. There's 6 seconds. Oh, that's a 25-second clock malfunction. Wally Wrighton is the referee of this crew.
25-second clock is out. The 25-second clock will be taken by the field judge on the field.
That makes it tough on quarterbacks, J.C., when that thing is not working because they keep their eyes peeled to that clock all night long.
And that's all they have to keep them aware of getting a delay of game. And if that is out, then that is really a hindrance to an offensive football team.
Bears by 14. This will be the last play of the quarter. It is Kevin Glenn. Little delay pattern. They clear it out for Costro. He's got all kinds of room, and he's up to the 39. It's a 17-yard gain as that time. They just cleaned out the middle for Steve Costro. Jeff Kling made the tackle for SMS.
Well, they know that SMS is dropping deep into those zones, so what they did is they ran the 2 receivers up the field and brought Costro right underneath the linebackers and let him run right around the defensive ends and catch the ball.
21-7, Southwest Missouri State leading nationally ranked Illinois State here in Springfield. For Southwest Missouri State, 3 drives, 3 scores, 21-7. The Bears with a lead over nationally ranked Illinois State. Kevin Glenn on a first down play. Bootleg rollout. And the speedster zings one. Is that complete? They're going to call it complete.
Good.
At the 42-yard line. And what an arm by Kevin Glenn. Ricky Garrett made the catch. But on the run now, Kevin Glenn threw that football like he's throwing it right at a Jugs gun.
I mean, he's got a rifle. And that was a good example right there. He's on the move. He's not even set and throws a bullet like that. You can imagine what it looks like coming when he's set and got his feet planted.
19-yard pickup. They give it officially. First down for Illinois State, trailing 21-7. Walter James is the lone setback. James is going to get it. Edwin James is cousin. And he'll get a nice gain. And depth to the 35-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines. Rich Baldinger is spying those Bear linebackers.
That's right, Mitch. I'm down there watching Corky here. He just made a big play here. We'll take a look at some of the highlights here of him, of his play on the field and his speed. Here we're looking at, this is what happens in a zone block when the offensive guard and center get their heads turned. There's Corky Martin coming in and making a great play right there on the backside. Here, we're going to see 2 linebackers. What happens when you start crossing people underneath? Whoa, got to look out for each other there. That's one negative there. But overall, so far, Corky Martin all over the field making plays.
Second down and short now for Illinois State as James picked up 8 on first down. Glenn, long count. Looks like it might be enough for the first down. Got to the 32, and then Angelo Banks, a transfer from the University of Oklahoma there for SMS.
Illinois State just needs to get something rolling offensively. They need to find their niche and get some cohesiveness, whether they're going to establish the running game or the quick throwing attack. They've got to get something established to get back into this ball game.
I do like their 1-2 punch at back, though, with Kason, and then you bring in Walter James, a guy who's just as explosive.
Those guys can really run. James is more of the slasher. Kason is the guy that they really want to get around the corner, utilize his tremendous speed, but both of those guys can take it to the house at any time.
It's close enough for a measurement, as you see the discussion with Todd Berry on the Illinois State sidelines. It is a first down as they measure. And the Redbirds will have a first down at the SMS 32-yard line. 14:31 left in the first half. It is 21-7 Southwest Missouri State, but now Illinois State bringing it down the field. Kevin Glenn, already the all-purpose leader, all-total offense leader in Illinois State history, and the kid's just a junior.
And that's after 2 games of his junior season. Jeez.
Again, Illinois State will spread it out. Glenn, picked off. It would have been a touchdown, but Dante King couldn't hang on to the football. He's a Wisconsin transfer.
I tell you, that is a great read, and that kid right there is a very heady player, because the only way you can break up a slant is if you're reading the quarterback. And when that quarterback takes a 3-step drop, as we see right here, you know that it's a quick 3-step drop, and for him to break on that and should have made the interception, he'd still be running. That is a great, smart heads-up play by the cornerback, number 24, Dante King.
2nd and 10 now for the Redbirds, trailing 21-7. Just underway second quarter here on the Ozarks. Kason attacks and will get nice yardage, a gain of about 7 yards to the Bear 25-yard line. Jeff Colleen, the strong safety, will be credited with the tackle. It doesn't take long for Avion Kason to attack outside that tackle.
Once he gets that ball and he starts heading north and south, he is a rocket. And that's probably one of the fastest 7-yard pickups I've seen in a long, long time.
Linemen love that too, man. They don't have to hold that block for very long. Big 3rd and 3 here now for Illinois State, trailing by 14. They need points out of this drive. Motion. Glenn deep drop. They clear it out for Troy Hunter on a crossing pattern. He's got a first down up to the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 10 yards. And for the second time now in this half, Illinois State runs that shallow crossing pattern for good yardage.
Well, they're going to continue to do that because they know that SMS is dropping off playing zone coverage. Look at the linebackers just running out of there. All they do is run a receiver right under the linebackers, and that's going to be wide open every time. Those linebackers, while they're running out of there, have got to take a look and see who's coming underneath them and try to break on that. But if they do that, they've got a receiver breaking right behind them as well. So it puts a lot of pressure on those SMS linebackers.
First down for the Birds. They line up Thate and Feister in the backfield. You see him move up on the line of scrimmage. Glenn dangerous here in scoring territory to run and pass, but this is James. Forced out, short gain. In the conference, 24-0. Northern Iowa hammering previously unbeaten Southern Illinois. As Northern Iowa, one of the top 10 teams in the country in 1AA, and also Western Illinois, Randy Ball's old team, beating Youngstown State 21-14. That's midway through the third quarter. That game being played in Youngstown. The Penguins with the advantage there. What a league. This is like the NFL. This league is so even. There are no bad teams in the league, and every week it's going to be scratch and claw.
They've got 5 teams ranked nationally, and that makes these games that much more important, because if you lose one conference game, I mean, you're in trouble because you've got a tough game week in and week out.
2nd and 7. 13 minutes left in the half. 21-7, Southwest Missouri. Off tackle. This goes to James. Good pursuit. And Corky Martin, one of those linebackers that Rich Baldinger was talking about, was there to stop Walter James.
And Illinois State is just trying to utilize that speed of theirs by getting their running backs to the outside, and now they're making a switch again and bringing Avion Kason back in the ball game, giving James a rest. But they want to try to utilize their speed and quickness and get around the corner for as many yards as possible.
Illinois State doing this without one of their best wide receivers, Corey Groh, injured a thumb against Minnesota, and they tell us he's now out for the season. 3rd and 5 for the Redbirds, and they're going to use the shotgun. Kevin Glenn out of the shotgun. There's that crossing pattern again. This time the Bears defended well as they trip up Steve Costro for a short gain. It'll be a gain of about 3 yards, but about 2 yards short of a first down.
Illinois State again tries to come underneath the zone coverage and actually run the slip screen that time. Good job by SMS being aware of that and making the tackle short of the first down.
Now Illinois State, they call it 4th and 3. But Todd Berry is going to put the field goal unit on. Yes, he will. Kind of a late decision by the Redbirds, but they're going to bring out Jake Strader. And I get a feeling in this game, you better get points whenever you can. And now Illinois State has to call timeout. Kind of a late decision by the Illinois State bench. They weren't sure whether they're going to go for it or kick the field goal. They'll try the field goal when we return. The SMS Bears lead Illinois State here in Springfield 21-7, early second quarter. Our Gateway Football Conference classroom champion is Jeff Colleen of Southwest Missouri State. The senior defensive back has mastered the art of blocking kicks, recording 5 in his first 2 seasons, which ties for 4th all-time in Gateway Conference history. While he's been an impact player on the field, Colleen has also been a success in the classroom. The senior biology major at SMS has earned academic all-district honors in each of the past 2 seasons and was an academic All-American in 1997. He has been an academic All-Gateway Football Conference selection in each of the last 2 years. Colleen entered the 99 season as one of the active career leaders at SMS with 155 career tackles and 3 interceptions. And despite suffering a broken hand in 1998, he has started 22 of 27 career games in which he has played for the Southwest Missouri State Bears. Jeff Colleen. Many times a player's career is remembered by what he's accomplished on the field. For Colleen, he'll also be remembered for what he's done off the field. Our Gateway Football Conference classroom champion, Jeff Colleen of Southwest Missouri State. Mitch Holt is back along with J.C. Pearson and Rich Baldinger in Springfield, Missouri. 21-7, Southwest Missouri State with the advantage. Illinois State has its field goal unit on the field to try this field goal. Strader, 1 for 2 this year. Again, both of these kickers, Bronner for Southwest Missouri and Strader for Illinois State, are the punter and the field goal kicker. This will be a 25-yard attempt. And the kick is perfect. Illinois State gets 3 points out of the drive. They're back with an 11 with 12:15 left in the second quarter. Let's go down to Rich Baldinger on this interesting turf in Springfield.
Yeah, Mitch, before the game, me and JC were down here, and we were wondering about this turf, whether how slippery it was going to be here. We're taking a look at some of the lines. I don't know who exactly drew these lines, Mitch. They might have been at one of those big concerts they had before they actually drew it. But you see, they actually have to put down a little sand here, or else it's like glue. You know, fast guys like me, I had to make sure I had a quick turf underneath me. So, but it hasn't been what problem I thought it was going to be. But they've done a good job with up the middle, so I think they'll continue with that, Southwest Missouri State. But there has been a little slipping, but they will be getting new turf next year.
It is controversial here. Now, this is like the old surface that the University of Missouri used to have, that sand-based surface that Colorado had so much problem with when they played at Missouri in the early 90s. And I know that the other coaches in the league, I'm not sure Randy Ball's probably crazy having this turf either, Rich.
First of all, I don't really know if it's a first down or not half the time the way the lines are drawn here. But yes, it is a problem because what happens is you're not really sure what shoe to wear. I talked to Coach Todd Bell before the game. He said they had the players out yesterday trying 3 different pairs of shoes because you go from a slippery field to a very sticky field, so it makes it very difficult for the players.
Jeff Hewitt and Tacoma Fontaine. There you take a look. Todd Berry trying to figure out what shoes that he wanted his guys to use on this field. Kick is away, and it's deep. It'll be 8 yards deep in the end zone. Fontaine will go to a knee. And they tell us now, Rich, I want to bring Rich back in a little bit. Rich, they tell us that they're going to go back to an artificial surface here because you would think after having this stuff that they'd want to put in a natural grass field.
Well, I think, you know, Mitch, that's what they talk about, but they have this thing here. They got these big rock concerts and band competitions here, and the grass doesn't tend to hold up when you've got about 40,000 people down here having a good time. So that's why I think they're going to be going back again to the artificial turf. Hopefully they put down a better turf than this composite here that they have now.
And Rich, you are are looking very, very dapper tonight with that bright red tie on, buddy.
JC, I'll tell you what, we cannot have this on tomorrow, Metro Sports.
All right, Smith and Ringen in the backfield. Southwest Missouri State has yet to be stopped tonight by Illinois State. Rogers on first down. His receiver slipped on this turf. Hewitt was open on a deep out, JC, and this time the home team's turf came back to bite the home team.
And that's exactly what we talked about. This turf is very, very slippery, and this time it's a disadvantage for the home team. But let's take a look at Rogers as he's throwing the ball. Watch his hand right here. That's what you don't want to see. That is a very easy way for a quarterback to break a thumb, break a hand by hitting a helmet. And I'm sure as we see Jay shake that hand off, that he is feeling some effects from hitting that helmet.
2nd and 10 for Jay Rogers out of Austin, Texas. Went to Westlake High School there, which has produced just a jillion football players. Lead draw, Ringen. We thought we'd see some other backs tonight in that backfield. So far, it's been all Ringen, and he'll gain short yardage, maybe a yard.
Going back to the play prior to this on the out route, as we talked about, it's very, very tough for those outside linebackers to get under those out routes, and they're going to be open all night long unless those backers loosen up some. But by the way that Illinois State is playing so far, it's going to be tough, and they're putting a lot of pressure on those outside backers.
Jay Rogers again, we said he's been efficient tonight. 21-10, Southwest Missouri State with the advantage. They fake the draw. Flag on the play. This should be on Southwest Missouri. A deep pattern. It is caught. Chance Thurman low, and there's another flag thrown. So a couple of flags here, and this might be offsetting penalties. Todd Berry said, hey, wait a minute, there's one flag back here because the flag up the field may be against his guy. No, they're both against Illinois State. Offsides against the Redbirds and pass interference against ISU.
Penalties has really been a hindrance for ILS so far tonight. As we can see, both penalties are against them. SMS does a good job just then of sucking in those linebackers. They know that these guys are aggressive, trying to get upfield, so they run the play-action pass to suck those guys up, as we're going to take a look at. We see the play pass, and take a look at the linebackers coming towards the line of scrimmage, and look at number 45. He does not know where the ball is. They run the deep end right behind him. Great play calling by SMS.
Bears moving it again. Ringen in the backfield. 4 minutes deep into the second quarter. This is Ringen again.
Jason Ringen on the carry.
Slashing for about 4 yards. This time, Hamilton Wells, you just looked at on that pass drop, he was there to make the run stop.
45, Hamilton Wells.
And that play right there is exactly why Hamilton Wells is running up on those play-action passes and leaving the middle of the field wide open, because if he doesn't, if he plays pass first, then that very play right there is going to gash him for about 7 or 8 yards. So he's got to be very disciplined and read his keys before reacting to what he sees.
21-10, Bears with the lead. That huge fullback, Smith, bootleg play by Rogers. And throws and hits Matt White, his tight end, short of a first down at the 47. Well covered. Adam Waugh was there for Illinois State.
Number 14, Adam Waugh.
SMS again with the play action, keeping Illinois State off balance. We see the play action. Look at the flow of the linebackers. Wells again runs himself right out of the play. Jay Rogers just throws the easy throw and catch. Gain of about 6 yards gives them 3rd and short, right where they want to be.
There's a look at Matt White. Brad St. Louis, also an outstanding tight end for this team. He lines up on the other side. Fontaine is the lone wide receiver in this formation. You see him just at the top of the screen, and Ringen with a big hole. 3rd down and 2, and Ringen reels off about 7 yards down to the Redbird 45. Armando Andrade made the tackle.
The interesting thing is, let's watch the fullback, Demetrius Smith. Look how close he is to the line of scrimmage. We don't get a good look right there, but he is 1 yard behind the quarterback so that he can get into that line of scrimmage and find someone to block so that Ringen can get through the hole and get the first down. I tell you, Demetrius Smith at 275 pounds is like an offensive guard in the backfield, and he is lining up right behind the quarterback so that he can get to the line of scrimmage in a hurry.
That dude is a load. Timeout called by Southwest Missouri State. Jay Rogers saw something he didn't like. He'll talk with Randy Ball and try to figure it out. But they've been figuring it out all night. They lead by 11. Back in Springfield, Missouri, where the Southwest Missouri State Bears lead the Illinois State Redbirds 21-10 still early in the second quarter. As Southwest Missouri with the ball, 1st and 10 in Illinois State territory at the 46. Bootleg play. Rogers looking up the field. He's going to throw it long. And this one's going to be intercepted. The moment. Oh, no, they're going to say he didn't hang on to the ball long enough. And a great play by the wide receiver, Fontaine, who actually knocked it away from the defender, Alfred Corbin, who was ready to pick it off at the goal line.
And that's what they're taught. If the ball is up in the air and the defender has a better shot of making the catch than you do, then you turn into a defensive back and make sure that that ball is not caught. Great job by Tacoma Fontaine.
Illinois State's had some decent defense tonight, JC, just not enough of it on a consistent basis.
I mean, these guys are very aggressive, and they want to blitz at all times. They've had some very good plays, but they've also had some breakdowns, and they're starting to get overpowered as we see Ringana hitting them up in the middle, and that's what we've been seeing quite a bit.
The big fullback on 2nd and 10 gets short yardage as Demetrius Smith will gain about 3 yards. Now, this is an Illinois State team that likes to attack on defense. In their first 3 games of the year, take a look at this. They had 19 tackles for losses the first 3 games. Much different tonight.
Much different tonight, and that's why SMS wanted to come in and just overpower him, just play smash-mouth football, make these guys line up. Don't allow them to run the gaps, shoot the gaps, and bring that blitzing, aggressive defense. They're going to dictate to them, and right now they are overpowering the Illinois State defense.
8.5 minutes left in the first half, 21-10, Southwest Missouri. The Bears 4 of 5 on 3rd downs. They have a 3rd, let's call it 7 here. Rogers finds Ring, and it's covered up very well. Excellent job by Ryan Zacola, the outside linebacker, who was right there in the presence of Ring.
Ringing out of bounds. Number 12, Ryan.
And that's what Illinois State wants to do. They want to bring the pressure, even though they're not getting to Rogers right now. They're still going to bring the pressure and expect those guys in the secondary and outside backers to cover the receivers. And you see right here, that's where they want the ball thrown. They want the ball thrown short and come up and make the tackle by Ryan Zacola, number 12 right there, but that's exactly where they want the ball thrown, short and less than the first down.
Travis Bronner on to punt for Southwest Missouri State. If I'm not mistaken, this will be his first punt of the night. As Zacola back to take the punt for Illinois State. Both of these teams like to attack kicks. This is a poor punt by Bronner. Very poor punt, as they're going to rule it out of bounds. He was trying to kick for field position inside the 20. And this is going to go down as about a 20-yard punt. When we return, Illinois State will have it back. They've got a hill to climb. They trail by 11.
Now in its 15th season, the 7-member Gateway Football Conference, comprised of Illinois State, Indiana State, Northern Iowa, Southern Illinois, Southwest Missouri State, Western Illinois, and Youngstown State, is quality, nicely competitive NCAA 1AA scholarship football, the best in the Midwest.
One of the fun things about this league, it's great coaches, it's great players, it's great atmospheres.
But it's a great league. I call it a dog-eat-dog type league. You have to show up every Saturday and be ready to play. There are no patsies in this league, and I think the coaches in the league do a tremendous job.
There are no teams that you can put a circle around saying, hey, this is a win. On the other side of the coin, I feel like any team can, win any game.
Gateway football stands alone among 1AA conferences, advancing every league member to the NCAA playoffs. The Gateway Football Conference, displaying football excellence in a unique educational environment.
One back set. This is a boot play, wide open. This is the tight end, Preisker. And Preisker gets up to the 45. That's a gain of 13. And all of a sudden now, JC, this game is flip-flop. Illinois State is finding big plays consecutively.
Well, they just took a little while to get untracked here, and right now they are getting into their flow offensively. They're starting to open up their offensive scheme, and they're not trying to pound the ball inside like they were early in the first quarter. Now they are attacking the corners. They're doing it with the toss, they're doing it with the slant, and now they're doing it with the play-action pass to the outside.
Kason stays in the backfield. You see Kevin Glenn. He was a finalist for the 1AA National Player of the Year, the Walter Payton Award. He can run a long ways here, lots of room, and he will scramble into Southwest Missouri State Bear territory. They said he went out at the 48 and a gain of 6.
And that's where a guy like Kevin Glenn is so dangerous. Obviously, he's got the great arm, but he's even more dangerous running the ball and throwing the ball. You see, they try to run the slant and go, but that's covered great. So what does he do? If that's covered, hey, I'll just run it. Get out of the way. Go downfield. Take your man with you, and I'll just run it and get as much as I can.
And, you know, we're seeing football evolve into this kind of quarterback, a Cordell Stewart, Michael Bishop kind of quarterback who can throw and run. This kid can do it, too.
With all the blitzing you're seeing from defenses, you got to have a quarterback who is mobile and they can get away from that. And this guy can do it with the best of them.
Second and short, Glenn, 9 of 11 passing, 97 yards. Holding and now throws it late. Good coverage by the Bears. Castro was the intended receiver, but he got tipped at the line of scrimmage.
The pass intended for number 80.
SMS did a good job of disguising that coverage. They had 8 men on the line of scrimmage, gave Illinois State a dose of their own medicine, and then dropped off into coverage. Number 9, Mike Gailey, just dropped right underneath that quick slant. The ball was actually right in his hands. Got tipped a little bit, but he still should make that play.
Gailey doesn't miss many. You see him, number 9, interception this year. Last year he had 5 pickoffs. He was the co-leader of the Gateway Football Conference in interceptions.
And he knows that he should have had that one.
Big third down play here for Illinois State. They trail 21-10 midway through the second quarter. Again, over the middle, wide open. This is Castro. And Castro has a first down and a whole lot more. He is down to the 28-yard line of Southwest Missouri State in a gain of about 20 yards.
And when you need some yardage, you go to what's been working for you all night. This is the same play where they make the linebackers drop deep. As you can see the linebackers right here, and they just drop and they just bring Castro right underneath where the linebackers are vacating and just let him outrun them. That time for a big 20-yard gain and a first down.
And you're telling me SMS is playing a deep zone with those defensive backs. That's why the middle of the field's so open.
That's why it's open exactly, Mitch. Those guys don't want to get beat deep, and those linebackers are racing out of there and opening the underneath route.
Walter James. This time they'll just power the ball to the 22, and it's a gain of 6 on a straight toss. Jeff Colleen, the strong safety, forcing the run. With Illinois State now getting off the ball with a lot of authority.
And they're just using their athletic ability and their speed. They're attacking the outside versus trying to run the ball in the middle where that big size and strength of SMS is on the defensive line. They are trying to get around the corner by using their speed with Kason and Walter James.
Second and short. This again where Glenn is dangerous. He can do a lot of things to you, and this time he'll use the shotgun. Ricky Garrett lines up as a wide receiver at the top of the screen. You can see how ISU can spread you out. Here comes a blitz. He gets rid of the football and overthrows Scott Preisker. But the strong safety, Jeff Colleen, coming hard at the quarterback. Kevin Glenn to force the incompletion.
That's not a good decision right there. I'm sure number 16, Scott Preisker, saying, hey, man, you see this free safety right here about to just clean my clock. You see him take a glance at the free safety right there. So he's not really looking at the ball. We call that alligator arms. He wants to make it look like he's going for it, but he knows that safety is coming in, honing right in on him, and the safety sure was. Number 9, Mike Gailey. That's why he didn't get the interception. He wasn't playing the ball. He was going for the kill shot that time.
Illinois State's been able to convert third and short. Another blitz. This time, Illinois State has an incompletion. Avion Kason, the intended receiver. Frank Amaterio was coming hard on the quarterback. Again, another blitz, but this time a straight rush by Amaterio forcing the incompletion.
And also Sean Lockett off the corner, and that's what they want to do. They want to get pressure on Glenn somehow, get him on the ground like they're doing right now. He's a guy that they want to hit and hit often, try to force him into some mistakes, and that time they force a bad throw that brings up a fourth down.
Now, it would be a 39-yard field goal attempt if Todd Berry elects to kick it, but he's not. Fourth down and 4, 21-10, Southwest Missouri State, 6:21 left in the half. Redbird's going for it, bootleg play. Holding is Glenn. He's got a man wide open. Steve Castro was just standing there at the hash mark waiting for the football, and not very often will Kevin Glenn make a huge mistake, but he just did.
And he just hurried himself, and I know he is just very mad at himself right now. They fake the toss and get the SMS defense flowing, and right now he sees Castro wide open. He just gets too excited. Instead of planting his feet, which he had plenty of time to do, he just tries to throw across his body. We'll see there is nobody around Castro right here, and instead of being patient, he just hurried it and threw behind him. And look how upset he is, and he's upset at himself. No one else but himself. Because he knows that he's capable of making that play, Mitch.
And, JC, let's be honest, that turf might have come to a play, too, because Castro could not plant his feet. He lost his footing, or may have had a better chance to get to the football. Handoff to Ringana. Short yardage. Illinois State pops him. Actually, no gain on the play. 6 minutes left in the half. 21-10. Southwest Missouri State with the advantage.
And that was a big play because, as you said, 39-yard field goal can get them 3 more points to bring this to 21-13, but instead they turn the ball over, and now they're still down 11 points.
Well, Ringen is a good running back, but I guess he can't untie a knot. He just handed the ball to one of his teammates and said, hey, I can fix this for me, would you? 2nd and 10. Jay Rogers this time is in the shotgun. He's going to find Bino Gore. Bino Gore is up to the 28-yard line for a gain of 6. Now, we've got a lot of viewers tonight in the Kansas City area watching on Metro Sports, and Bino Gore should be very familiar to them. One of the top players in the Midwest last year out of that Olathe North High School, which is one of the premier programs in the Midlands.
Sure, we've had him on the high school game of the week, running over and through everybody.
5'9", 180, not nearly as big as Ringana, but he's got that other gear. And a good signee for Southwest Missouri State because Bino Gore was getting some looks from a lot of other places. 4:55 left in the half. 21-10 Bears. They have 3rd and 4. Football at their own 29. A time blitz by Illinois State, and they get to Gore. This time, Tim Angston, the linebacker, perfectly timed his blitz. It's 3 and out for the Bears.
Illinois State really needed that. As you said, the perfectly timed blitz by Tim Angston. And that's what they want to do. They want to create havoc by moving people, moving them around, blitzing and coming from all angles. You can see Tim Angston right here just completely blows the play up, takes on 2 blockers and still makes the tackle.
Again, this is a very different game now. SMS just drove down the field on their first 3 drives. But the second quarter has been a different story. Bronner to punt it, and he just blisters this thing. Zakola backing up, still backing up. And this is a monster punt by Travis Bronner. 57-yard punt with 4.25 seconds of hang time. And it's down at the 18-yard line with 4:06 left in the first half, 21-10.
Well, I tell you, as a defensive player, you love to have punters like this. Look at that. Great leg extension, and he really gets into this ball right here. 57-yard punt. Puts ILS down on the 19-yard line. And as I said, as a defensive player, you love to have a punter that can get the ball out there and down the field like that.
There's a look at Kevin Glenn. One of the great players in 1AA football. His team trailing by 11. Glenn zings one, finds Ricky Garrett, and Garrett breaking tackles. And he's up to the 32, and that's a gain of 13 yards and a Redbird first down. As a defensive lineman, Luis Almanzar, Nebraska transfer, had to make the tackle.
Illinois State, again, they came in expecting a lot of cover 2 by SMS, and that's exactly what they're getting. They're getting the 2 safeties deep, playing half the field, and 5 guys underneath playing the rest of the field, and they're just dropping those guys deep. Illinois State is just trying to run receivers underneath the zones.
Birds go to the shotgun and spread it out. This is a quarterback draw. Glenn has a nice angle, gets a good downfield block, and he'll pick up 12 yards. But a flag thrown on the play. And thrown at the line of scrimmage. 3:35 left in the first half, 21-10, Southwest Missouri State. This is the first of 5 telecasts we'll have featuring the Gateway Football Conference. It is offsides against Southwest Missouri State. So the Redbirds will take the play and pick up 12 yards. Take a look at our other games that we're going to have on. And again, all of these games are outstanding because there's no bad teams in the league. Illinois State will be at home the next time. In 2 weeks, they'll entertain the Sycamores of Indiana State. Western Illinois, the team that Randy Ball left, will entertain the surprising Salukis of Southern Illinois. Northern Iowa, top 5 team right now, will entertain a defending national champion from a couple years past, Youngstown State and Southwest Missouri. In our final game, they'll be at Youngstown to play the Penguins in November. Stretch play. Walter James with it. He explodes into the Bear secondary, and he is into Bear territory and down to the 48-yard line. And I'm telling you what, JC, this game has changed. Illinois State every time now is ripping off gains of about 10 yards.
They have definitely gotten into their flow offensively, and they've used the offensive backs and the speed of Walter James and Avion Cason. But look outside. No good running game is without wide receivers that can block, and look at that. He is just dominating him. Number 18, Ricky Garrett, is just dominating the defensive back, Dante King, over there. And that's what they want out of this offense. When you've got guys like James and Cason, you need just the receivers to get in the way of those defensive backs and give them a little room.
James, 8 carries, 40 yards. This is Cason. His counterpart. And he's at the 29. That's another gain of 7 yards. Sean Lockhart chasing him there.
And you can see, Mitch, they're just ripping off gains of 5, 6, 7 yards around the corner. Just using their speed and beating SMS to the corner. What SMS has got to do is play a little tighter on the outside against the receivers and let their outside backers get up the field. They want Illinois State to run the ball between the tackles, and right now Illinois State is not doing that. They're getting around the corner.
Redbirds up on the football quickly. They have 2nd and 3. Running to option is Glenn. He'll keep it and has a first down. As Glenn, the 190-pound junior from Detroit, Michigan, has a first down at the Bear 25-yard line. Other scores in the league, Northern Iowa leading Southern Illinois 24-0. That was expected tonight in the Unidome. And a tie game. A rally by Youngstown State. Western Illinois and Youngstown tied 21-21 at the half. You know, every week in the National Football League, I see players from this league popping up all over the league. We start talking about Diedrich Ward or Brian Cox, and I mean this league, Rodney Harrison.
Exactly.
Of San Diego.
A lot of good football players in this conference.
Quick pass, wide open is Preisker, the tight end, and he is down to the 13-yard line. Scott Preisker, and again, the middle of the field, JC, just wide open.
Wide open. They're using the play-action passes, the quick pops, and just letting those linebackers run out of there. And right here, you see it's just a quick 3-step drop to Preisker underneath. Wide open. Those linebackers are just racing out of there in cover 2. And if not for a great tackle by Mike Gailey right here, it could be touchdown for Illinois State. And as you said, Mitch, they are starting to get in their groove offensively, and they're whacking off 5, 6, 7 yards a pop right now. SMS has got to get back defensively, get sound, get aggressive, and start playing disciplined defense.
Scott Preisker, you see him there, just had the catch. He went to airborne training at Fort Benning, Georgia last summer. This kid wants to go into the Army and may end up being an airborne ranger.
Wow.
It'll make you sleep good at night knowing that this kid's jumping out of a plane protecting the country. Let's take a look now at this league. We told you it's great. 5 teams now in the top 25. Northern Iowa in the top 5. Illinois State here tonight. They're at 11th. Western Illinois, they've won the league the last 2 years with Randy Ball coaching them at 13th. Youngstown State, a defending national champion. As I told you, 4 different national champions in its past. And Southern Illinois, the surprising team at 25th. And the Bears are right there. If they win tonight, they probably jump in.
And I tell you, that is a very strong conference. And I tell you, every week you had better be prepared to play or you're going to get knocked off. And 1 or 2 losses in this conference, and you're probably out of the race.
And as we mentioned, this is a good place for a kid to not only get an education, but to prepare him to play professional football. I mean, there are just scads of guys right now in the league from this conference.
And I know tonight we've got Bob Hammond, a scout with the Los Angeles Rams, actually the vice president, that is here in the audience as well, taking a look at some players.
1st and 10 for the Redbirds to the 13 of SMS. Walter James is in the backfield. Behind Kevin Glenn. This is James. The Bears defended well and knocked him down. This will be no gain. This is that fast break kind of football up until that play that Illinois State likes to play. Wham, wham, they're right in your face, quick huddles that get you again.
And that's what they want to do. They don't want to allow you to make adjustments defensively. They want to hit you with the 3 wide receiver sets, throw the ball outside. Then they want the quick toss to get their speed outside. Then they're going to hit you with the crosser and really keep a defense off balance. And right now they're dictating to SMS.
25-second clock has been fixed. It was down earlier. Now we're inside of 2 minutes, 1:33 to be exact. Left in the half, 21-10. So the Redbirds have to watch the clock here. On 2nd and 10, they'll option. Nice reverse action by Glenn. Pitches late. Cason, and Cason stepped out of bounds with a toe out of bounds at the 7.
I tell you what, Mitch, that is a great play by the quarterback, Kevin Glenn, right there. Not only is he a great athlete, but he makes great decisions. We'll take a look at the option right here. He fakes the pitch, gets the linebacker up, but instead of just holding the ball, he has the sense to pitch it out because he knows that Avion Cason is still behind him running, so he draws the defense to him and then pitches it at the very last second to get as many yards as possible. That is just a great heads-up play by Kevin Glenn.
Late critical play here in the first half. 21-10, Southwest Missouri State. They're the team in the maroon. Illinois State has 3rd down and 4 now at the Bears 7-yard line. Play clock at 2 seconds. Glenn wide open. He's got a man, and it's a touchdown for Illinois State.
Great audible. He saw that they were in man-to-man coverage outside, and he just calls the pick play, what we call slant and drag. That gets the backer picked off of his receiver. Just an easy throw and catch for a touchdown. But it was all set up because Kevin Glenn came up, read the defense, and made the audible and changed the play. And you can see it's just a 3-step drop outside right here. 1, 2, 3, bang. And the ball is gone. And you see the defenders right there confused on the pick play. And that's just a great call by Kevin Glenn.
The touchdown belongs to John Laurenti, a redshirt freshman from Kankakee, Illinois, with his first career touchdown as an Illinois State Redbird. And the point after is good, and Illinois State, which at one time trailed 21-7, takes a 9-play 81-yard drive just under 3 minutes, and now it's a 21-17 game with 78 seconds left in the half.
And this game has a totally different look from the first quarter, Mitch. Obviously, in the first quarter, SMS was completely dominating this football game. In the second quarter, Illinois State has gotten untracked and gotten their wide open multiple formation and multiple set offense untracked. And right now, they look like they're unstoppable.
And interesting to see what Randy Ball here would do. It may depend on the kick return. He still has 1:18 left in the half. If he will try to attack here at the end of the half and try to get points on the board. His team leads 21-17. But now he has seen the Redbirds score 10 unanswered points. As Jake Strader. And there's a look at one of those talented Southwest Missouri State linebackers, Corky Martin. But all of a sudden, his aggression has been taken away by an attacking Illinois State offense of Todd Berry.
That's what happens when you can get players thinking. That takes away their aggressiveness. Early on, they were just coming forward, making play after play. But now that this offense is getting untracked and they're throwing the ball outside, they're throwing the quick pop over the middle, and then they're racing to the outside with the running backs. Linebackers have to think a lot more, Mitch, and when you got to think, it takes away your aggressiveness.
Dante King now back to take the kick, along with Tacoma Fontaine, as you take a look at the Illinois State kick coverage unit. Strader's kick is deep, and a miscommunication by the kick return man. It'll come out to the 20-yard line as both of them were looking at each other as the ball sailed by.
And as you can see, they're still trying to communicate, and that's key with any return unit is communication. And they're going to be getting an earful on the sideline when they get to the sideline about that. It has to be very clear and evident who's going to get the ball so that the other guy can get into the wedge and start to block.
SMS likes to huddle on the sideline. Speaking of sidelines, this huddle is not on the field. It's on the sideline. They'll come running out and snap the ball without a huddle on the field. SMS has 80 yards to go to try to score a touchdown. 78 seconds left in the half. Cliff Creed is in the game now as Rogers will stop the clock in an out pattern. It'll be 5-yard gain on a quick out. It went to Chance Thurman for 5.
And he paid for every bit of those 5 yards. The cornerback, Alfred Corbin, came up and laid a shot on him. And that's what you're supposed to do as a defensive back. Anytime they're throwing the ball in front of you, you better come up and lay some hat on these wide receivers. And that time, Corbin definitely laid some hat on the wide receiver.
SMS going without a huddle. They find Ringen in the flat, and he gets drilled right away. Galen Scott, who leads this team in tackles for Illinois State, drilled him.
And he's the guy that the coaching staff says is all over the football field. His instincts for playing football are just tremendous. Even though he's not a great athlete, they said watch the football. Anytime there's a football on the football field, he's going to be around it.
This is interesting now. The last play went out of bounds. SMS could have huddled because the clock wasn't moving. They decided to go no huddle with the clock stop. Now with the clock moving, they use a huddle. Interesting. 3rd and 5 for the Bears. They have the ball at their own 25. Rogers in the shotgun. Last seconds of the half, Creed on a crossing pattern. He gets rocked as soon as he catches the football. As Cliff Creed on the catch, and now it's 4th down for SMS.
And we talked about what scoring does for a football team. Now this Illinois State football team is starting to fly around. You see these guys high-fiving each other. A lot of emotion on the football field right now. Or in the first quarter when they were down 21-7, guys were just walking around kind of dazed and confused. But right now they know they're back in this football game, and these guys are starting to get psyched up again and starting to fly around.
Scott Cook made the tackle. And now Illinois State has Ryan Zacola back, but Southwest Missouri has 4th down and less than a yard. They have the ball at their own 29-yard line. But a little bit of a snafu by the Bears because their first play on 1st down went out of bounds, stopping the clock, which would have allowed them to huddle. They decided to go no huddle, threw it in the flat. A hit was made, and then they huddled with the clock running on 3rd down.
Not very good clock management, and there really is no decision right here. 4th and 1 with 24 seconds left on your own 29. I don't think they're going to fool anybody into thinking that they're going to go for this.
They do have 4th down. One option here, are they going to request a measurement? So they can see exactly how close they are to a 1st down. As you see, Randy Ball is interested in this measurement. As you take a look at the officiating crew, and it's about a half-yard short. Now, one thing SMS could do is a long count to try to draw Illinois State off here and pick up a 1st down. This is all happening with 24 seconds left in the half, and Southwest Missouri State leading Illinois State 21-17. Ryan Zacola back to take the punt. Bronner's last punt, right in that 55-yard range. He hammered it. But here's where Illinois State has to hold their water and not jump off and give the Bears a 1st down by penalty. Bronner gets it away. This is not a good kick. It will take a Bear bounce and will be down at the 33-yard line. 15 seconds left in the half. Down by Kevin Hunt.
Well, if you're Illinois State, Mitch, do you give it one shot at the end zone, or do you just be content with going into halftime down 21-17, but knowing that you virtually own the second period?
You know, I watched Kevin Glenn play last year. But the thing that's impressing me tonight about him, Todd Berry's quarterback, is his arm strength. The guy has a rocket.
He's got a gun.
Yeah, he can throw the ball to the field. Plus, he can throw it downfield. So, yeah, why not here? Out of the shotgun, he's going to let it fly. He's got a man.
Look at that. That is a very tough throw to make, too. That 15-yard out route is a very hard route to throw as a quarterback, and he put it right on the money with velocity.
Take a look.
That's what you want to see. You see him in the shotgun right here, and that's exactly how this came out. Looks like out of a shotgun. Look at that. Bang, and look how fast it gets to the out and right on the money. Defensive back has no chance to break that ball up because it is coming so fast, and it is right on the sideline where it's supposed to be.
Again, the shotgun, gain of 9, football at the 45. A deep 4-deep zone being played by the Bears. Another out pattern. This time he missed it. But SMS drilled Kevin Glenn. As you see him laying there, SMS had 3 different Bears get a hat on him.
And that's why the ball was not on the money that time. Anytime you can get pressure on a quarterback, especially a quarterback like Kevin Glenn, the ball is going to be errant. And as you can see, kind of roughed up his shoulder right there. And that would be a massive, massive injury for Illinois State.
7 seconds now left in the half. 21-17, Southwest Missouri State leading Illinois State. Your alma mater today got a big win, 31-24 in that grudge match between
New Heisel and Colorado. It's about time because they were definitely looking shaky, but they stepped it up. A lot like Kevin Glenn.
Glenn scrambles, throws deep. He's got Garrett, and it's incomplete.
How about that, Mitch? That was right on the money and should have been a touchdown. And that's after scrambling around about 20 or 30 yards, and he threw that on the run.
If Ricky Garrett catches this, it's a touchdown, and Illinois State takes the lead. As Kevin Glenn got near the line of scrimmage, but then lets it fly.
I mean, look at that ball right on the... You've got to catch that. It hits him on the forearms. I mean, he has definitely got to make that catch, and I'm sure he's going to hear about it going in the locker room. But film study tomorrow, he's going to get ridden quite a bit.
Let's go down to Rich Baldinger, who's got Randy Ball, the SMS coach.
Coach, you started out the first half dominating exactly what you wanted to do, but it seems like Illinois State's turned the momentum on you in the second quarter.
Well, they did. They turned the momentum a little bit. We're going to have to come out and establish the run in the second half and get something going on offense to start the second half and get a little momentum and get a little confidence back.
Do you see that as the key to winning this game, to keeping control of the ball in the second half?
Well, there's no question about it. Their offense is very good. We know that, and we knew it coming in. So in order for us to have success, we're going to have to come out and dominate in the second half, particularly on the offensive side. And we're making mistakes on defense. We're going to get that squared away at halftime. We'll be back ready to go in the second half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
And his team will have the choice to have the ball to start the third quarter. 21-17, Southwest Missouri State leading Illinois State at halftime here in Springfield. We've got a full halftime for you, including a chat with the commissioner of the Gateway Conference, Patty Viverito. We'll have all that and more after this. It's entertaining here at halftime. Their team leads by 4 at intermission.
SM, Southwest Missouri State leading Illinois State. Richard Baldinger down here on the sidelines. And I'm happen to be joined here with Mr. Bob Wallace, Senior Vice President of the St. Louis Rams. We wanted to emphasize St. Louis there.
Especially while we're here in Missouri.
That's right. You wanted to do that. Folks, we're here tonight. We're going to do this each and every week to talk about some of the players who have possibilities to go on to that big league, the National Football League. And Bob's going to talk about some of the players he thinks that has a chance and what he's looking for.
Rich, this is a great conference, and this game just shows you what a good conference it is. You know, there's Brian Cox, and St. Louis Rams have 2 Gateway Conference players, Kurt Warner and Jeff Wilkins. So this is a really good conference. We've had, in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, we've had 3 touchdown passes by Kurt Warner. We've had 2 touchdown catches, and we have 8 Pro Bowls there. 19 guys from this conference playing in the National Football League.
All right, Bob, that sounds good. Let's take a look at some of the players we are going to highlight tonight.
Thanks, Rich.
Here we go, and we're going to start off with the first one here. We're going to talk about quarterback, Mr. Jay Rogers. Tell us what you like about him and seen tonight.
Well, I think the thing that I like about him is he makes good decisions, and that's something you can say about both these quarterbacks. Both Jay Rogers and Kevin Glenn make good decisions. Here he's taking it in. One of the reasons he left Indiana was because they were going to go to the option, and they didn't think he ran it well, but he ran it pretty well then.
He seems to have some good size, some good smarts out there in the field. Doesn't put himself in bad position.
Right, he doesn't. And, you know, they elected him captain before he took his first snap. Here we're looking at Kevin Glenn, and boy, is he elusive. Look at him. He makes plays. That's what he does. He's a little small, but he can make plays, and he runs, and he throws the ball. And, again, he makes good decisions as a great leader.
You know, throwing the ball for almost 6,000 yards, he's got to have something there to do that.
That's right. You know what? They said Doug Flutie was too small. They say Ty Detman is too small. They even said Joe Montana small. If you're a winner, and this kid's a winner, then you can play at any level.
But we're going to talk about the wide receiver here. One of his favorite targets, Mr. Garrett here. We see him making a good reception.
Ricky Garrett's a big kid. Look at him. And here he is. He's a big kid, and he looks like he can run. And in the National Football League, they like those Michael Irving types. They like those big receivers that can shield the ball away from players. Here they're asking him to block. At St. Louis with Al Sanders, he's on our wide receivers all the time. Block downfield, make plays. And Kevin Garrett's doing that right here.
And we saw that on the sidelines one time. He lit up somebody there after the play.
As you said, he was standing around the pile.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do. Bob, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. We look forward to your report every week.
Thank you, Rich.
Springfield area Mighty Mites youth football program for the Northwest. These players
We'll take a break here. Score 21-17, Southwest Missouri leading Illinois State.
Mitch Holthus with you back in Springfield, Missouri, and with me is the 15-year commissioner of the Gateway Football Conference, Patty Viverito. And Patty, you have to be excited. You've played great football, but now tonight starts a new era for you.
Absolutely. For 15 years we've been playing great football, but not everyone has known about us. Television gives us the opportunity to tell the world just how good we are.
Let's take a look at some of the games we'll have coming up, and we got some tremendous matchups here.
Oh, absolutely. We've got 5 teams in the top 25, so whoever's playing within the league, you've got a great matchup and some national caliber competition.
And there, look at the national standings. 5 teams in the top 25, and Southwest Missouri State very close to being ranked. I want to ask you this. There seems to be a resurgence of 1AA football and its popularity, and 1A football is now helping out 1AA.
Yes, I'm glad to talk about that. Actually, the Division 1A commissioners recognize that good football is being played not just at the 1A level, but throughout Division 1. And they have given us grant dollars through the Bowl Championship Series and have said, let's market these games and let's show the world the great football that's being played at the 1AA level.
So the fans know there is a playoff in 1AA, and I need to ask you now, we've seen all these teams ranked in the top 25, but now they're going to start to play each other. How are concerned that your league teams are going to beat up on one another?
We've been saying for years that it's tougher to win the Gateway Football Conference title than the national championship. Of course, Youngstown proved that 2 years ago when they finished 3rd in our league and then won it all. So yes, somebody's going to have to lose this weekend, unfortunately, and it's only because we're playing each other.
All right, thanks, Patty. Patty Viverito, the commissioner of the Gateway Football Conference. Back at Plastered Field in Springfield, Missouri, where the Southwest Missouri State Bears had 21 unanswered points, but Illinois State scrambled toward the end of the half and scored 10 unanswered themselves. It's 21-17. And let's go now to the stat book and check out the stats.
As we've been talking about, Mitch, 2 entirely different quarters, but statistically just about even. You take a look at the rushing yards and the passing yards, total yards, can't be much closer than that. The big stat is the kickoff return yardage. Illinois State, 2 returns for 110 yards, but one of those, Mitch, 100 yards and a touchdown.
By Avion Cason that started the game and the scoring for the Illinois State Redbirds. We'll be back with more from Springfield. 21-17, Southwest Missouri State leading the 13th ranked Illinois State Redbirds. We'll be back with more halftime following this.
Now in its 15th season, the 7-member Gateway Football Conference, comprised of Illinois State, Indiana State, Northern Iowa, Southern Illinois, Southwest Missouri State, Western Illinois, and Youngstown State, is quality, nicely competitive NCAA 1AA scholarship football, the best in the Midwest.
One of the fun things about this league, it's great coaches, it's great players, it's great atmospheres.
But it's a great league. I call it a dog-eat-dog type league. You have to show up every Saturday and be ready to play. There are no patsies in this league, and I think the coaches in the league do a tremendous job.
There are no teams that you can put a circle around saying, hey, this is a win. On the other side of the coin, I feel like any team can, win any game.
Gateway football stands alone among 1AA conferences, advancing every league member to the NCAA playoffs. The Gateway Football Conference, displaying football excellence in a unique edge.
The State Redbirds 21-17 at halftime. Mitch Holt is back with you, along with J.C. Pearson, former NFL player and college grade at the University of Washington. In this game, we expect some explosiveness back and forth, but the two teams have kind of traded turns when they've shown that explosive.
Yeah, they sure have, and it's going to be interesting to see who makes the most adjustments at halftime. Is Illinois State going to be able to come out and continue to run that wide-open offense, or is Southwest Missouri going to get back to that hard-nosed, smash-mouth football that they started the game with?
Well, we're going to find out what Illinois State's going to do. Here's Rich Baldinger with Todd Barrett.
Coach, coming out here at halftime, what did you say to your players? What changes are you going to do to make it better in the second half for you?
Well, I think we've already made several adjustments that have helped us out. What we got to do is we got to make plays on offense. We've had 2 plays that were touchdown plays, had 1 drop and then another missed throw. And on defense, we just needed to settle down a little bit. They were taking a play that they generally hit outside. They were hitting it back up in the A-gap. And we got to do a better job, obviously, of stopping them on first down. They've been hitting us on first down and then been able to go with a bigger play on second down. So we just got to get our composure back. And right now we're down by 4, and we'll see what we're made of here.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Todd Berry, the head coach at Illinois State. He has taken Illinois State from being just a very mediocre team to the 1AA playoffs last year for the first time in school history. This team trails by 4 here at halftime. This has been a half full of highlights, J.C. Pearson. Really, both teams have could fill up a reel of highlight tape in the first half.
That's exactly right, and that's what we expected coming into this ball game. We see Avion Cason right off the bat with the 100-yard kickoff return. He just is juking, shooking, and jiving all the way, using that speed for 6 points. Southwest Missouri comes back, and Jay Rogers doing what he does best, making great decisions, keeps the ball in the option and just sprints to the corner. And here's what they wanted to do. They wanted to pound the ball, be aggressive, ringing it right up the middle. And at that point, Southwest Missouri was overpowering Illinois State, but they come right back, and this is right before the half. And if they could have made that play right there, they would have went into halftime with the lead. But instead, they're down 24-17, and Mitch, it's going to be interesting to see if they try to come back out this second half and try to go downfield and establish that right off the bat.
All right, let's pick up Rich Baldinger again down on the sidelines and get Rich's thought about why these two teams will approach the third quarter.
Yeah, I tell you, JC, before the game, we talked about that power running game there, and we kind of highlighted the left guard for Southwest Missouri State, Jason Steele, done an excellent job up front there, containing the three inside people. We talked about Galen Scott and people up front. They've done a good job. They need to come back out, and I think as long as they can control the tempo up front, it allows them to go with the play action quickly there, and that's why I think they'll control the game in the second half if they can continue to run the ball.
Rich, did you think that offensive line of SMS got a little bit tired in the second quarter because they were blowing them off the ball in the first quarter and a half?
I think that was part of it, but, I was over here on the sidelines, and I was listening to the defensive line coach here for Illinois State, and he made a really good adjustment. One of the things he talked about was to his defense end and defensive tackles. He said, listen, we can't run around blocks. You've got to go through the offensive guard or the tackle's shoulder when they're zoning. Thereby, you'll stop the cutback lanes. That's what they did in the second quarter, and if you notice, Southwest Missouri was having a little bit of trouble running them.
Boy, excellent point, Rich. Thanks. Linemen sometimes defensively can kind of try to guess and go to a gap, and if they miss, boom, it's a big problem.
And if they guess the wrong way, there is a huge gap and seam in the defense, and that's what's been happening to them in this ball game so far. And they just got to get disciplined, stay in there, and do their own assignment and not try to do too much. Don't worry about what the guy next to you is doing. Just worry about yourself and do your job and your assignment.
There's Jason Staley, a transfer from Indiana University out of Marshall, Michigan. Again, a lot of transfers on these two teams from 1A schools. Jay Rogers is quarterback, also a former Indiana Hoosier. But a lot of 1A transfers into this program of Southwest Missouri State, and that was the theme of Randy Ball and his teams when he was at Western Illinois, a lot of transfers. But he's coached some great ones, Randy Ball has. We mentioned Brian Cox was one of his players at Western, as was Rodney Harrison, arguably the best strong safety right now in the National Football League. So he's had some great players, and the one thing about Randy Ball, JC, he's going to bring some talent to this campus.
That's exactly right, and he also, evidently, he's got to be a great management, a great psychological coach as well, because when you got a guy like Brian Cox and Rodney Harrison of the Chargers, those are two very volatile, very emotional football players, and for him to keep those guys under control, it's a big plus for Randy Ball.
Harrison, the most fine guy in the National Football League. He's like $70,000 in fines over the last 2 years, but an impact player for the Chargers. All right, Illinois State has to kick it off to start the third quarter. Tacoma Fontaine and Dante King are the deep returners, but you see the coverage unit of Illinois State. Little wind blowing now, which could be a factor in the second half. The wind is blowing into the face of Illinois State. So, as Jake Strader kicks this off, he'll be kicking into the wind, which is blowing out of the south, and you see the flag there at the north end of the field. So a chance to return this kick for the Bears. Kick is away, deep kick into the wind. This is Dante King. It's a seam. Gets popped and stood up and then hits the ball up to the 32-yard line. Good return for Southwest Missouri State. They scored on 3 consecutive drives to start the game, then shut down by the Illinois State Redbirds in the second quarter. Let's see what decisions and adjustments they make.
I'm sure they're going to come out and try to get back to their game plan, which was smash mouth football, try to control the ball as well as the clock, and see if they can get their running game going again between the tackles.
Jay Rogers, you mentioned his efficiency in the first half, 14 of 18 for 161 yards. That's pretty efficient.
And still no interceptions. on the season.
Smith and Ringana, now all kinds of shifting by the Bears. They take Ringana out of the backfield. You see him at the top of the screen. The only back is that big fullback, Smith. And they want Ringana wide open right sideline. Great play call. Now Ringana drops the ball, but they're going to rule it a catch. And out of bounds at the Illinois State 38-yard line.
And we see an adjustment right off the bat. The first play out of halftime, they split Ringana out, try to isolate this cover two. They knew that they were going to get some of that coming into the ball game. And you see Rogers does a good job of looking off the safeties as well. Just allows Ringana to clear the linebacker that he had split out there for an easy throw and catch. And as you can see, it looks like SMS went into the locker room and definitely made some adjustments.
You saw number 14, Adam Waugh, not dropping deep enough in the zone. 1st and 10 for the Bears at the 38 of the Redbirds. Just underway, third quarter. Ringana, big hole. And he'll pick up 7 on first down to the 33.
Number 15, Adam Waugh.
As Zacola on the stop for Illinois State. This game is such a momentum, rhythm, and tempo game. That pass play almost set up that run. I mean, SMS is really getting off the football now.
That's exactly right. I'm sure that they expected Illinois State to think that they were going to come out and try to hammer them the first play, but instead they go up top and they hammer them the second play.
Bunch of near 300-pound offensive linemen. You just saw isolated. 2nd and short here. Rogers wants to throw it. Wide open. It's Hewitt. Hewitt is taken down one-on-one by Alfred Corbin. But they will give a forward progress spot to Southwest Missouri at about the 28-yard line. That should be good enough for a first down.
And this is what they came out doing the very beginning of the game. Short 3-step drops, the runs out down here to Hewitt. For a pretty good gain right here, but what they're doing is they're loosening up that 4-4 aggressive blitzing defense of Illinois State. They're keeping them off balance. They're hitting him up the middle with power running and then trying to get outside with the quick 3-step drops.
Great shot by our camera people at the measurement, and it's going to be a first down.
First down yardage for the Bears.
And a couple of nice play calls. SMS working at halftime to get a few design pass plays here to move the ball up the field.
A very important drive for them coming out of halftime. The momentum going into halftime was definitely with Illinois State. So this is a big drive for Southwest Missouri to get some points on the board and try to get that momentum back on their side.
Ringana 14 carries, 53 yards. You take a look at Todd Berry. There's his contestant on the other sideline, Randy Ball. Rogers, off play action. Wide open, deep right, touchdown, Southwest Missouri. Jeff Hewitt, his 2nd touchdown of the game. He's got 4 on the season, burning Armando Andrade.
And I'll tell you what, he ran a corner route that time. He had Andrade biting on the post. He just ran the corner, and Rogers laid it right where he needed to lay it for Hewitt to get into the end zone. Great route that time by Hewitt. ISO'd him all the way, and he really sold the post, which is what you have to do when you're running that corner route. We'll take a look here, and I don't know if we can see the post at the bottom of the screen, but the play pass holds the linebackers, which buys the quarterback time to let Hewitt run that post corner, and he is wide open, and what a great throw. Perfect. Right where it needs to be, and you can see the defensive back is nowhere near the receiver, and that's when you know that you've been beaten badly.
A 4-play, 68-yard drive. Bronner with the point after, and it's 28-17. Southwest Missouri State leading the Illinois State Redbirds early in the third quarter in the Ozarks. He had the appropriate uniform number as former Southwest Missouri State star DeAndre Smith was perhaps the #1 quarterback in Gateway football history. In his 4 seasons at SMS, DeAndre almost single-handedly brought the Bears from football obscurity to football supremacy. The Bears earned Gateway Conference titles and went to the NCAA playoffs in 1989 and 1990, DeAndre's 2 best seasons. The former All-American's gutsy performances and elusiveness helped him earn Gateway honors as the league's offensive player of the decade, awarded after the league's first 10 seasons in 1994. DeAndre is the only quarterback in league history to win the league's Offensive Player of the Year award 2 times, winning in both 1989 and 1990. In 1990, he established a league record with 17 rushing touchdowns, which is still a record for quarterbacks. And counting playoff action, he had 40 career rushing touchdowns, also a league record for a quarterback. DeAndre Smith, one of the greatest in Gateway history. We've had our share of good quarterback play tonight, as also good wide receiver play. You take a good look at one of the fastest Bears from Southwest Missouri State, Jeff Hewitt. That was his first touchdown of the evening, but he also has had some big pass plays from quarterback Jay Rogers, who's also been very, very effective. Rogers 17 of 21.
And that was a great route by Hewitt on that post corner route, but that was huge for SMS coming out of halftime, where they were probably starting to question themselves going into halftime, but coming out, putting a great drive together, getting in the end zone. Great emotional lift for SMS.
And kicker Travis Bronner jams one, not only 10 yards deep in the end zone, but high enough that it went over the crossbar and through the uprights. But unfortunately, no points given to Southwest Missouri State. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. And a reminder that 2 Win Sports Marketing of Northbrook, Illinois creates sports-based opportunities, solves business problems, and delivers win-win solutions. In sports marketing, 2 Win means you win too. Mitch Holtis back along with J.C. Pearson. Rich Baldinger down on the sideline. 28-17. Illinois State with the ball, trailing by 11. Kevin Glenn, great catch. And pokes a throw into Steve Costro. It's a gain of 10 yards. It looked like the Bears were going to intercept it.
I don't know how he got that ball in there. Sean Lockhart all over the wide receiver that time. And I tell you, this is the only place that the ball could be for completion. And you see Lockhart all over Costro right there. He does a good job, Costro does, of going after the ball and making the play.
The linemen all cut blocking there as well on those quick slant type plays. 1st and 10. Take a look at the numbers of Kevin Glenn. A Kevin Glenn kind of night. Again, the all-time total offense leader in Illinois State history, and he's just a junior. Kason, the lone setback. He gets stood up and popped. Sean Lockhart, who was just beaten on the pass play, said, take this.
And Illinois State sticking to their game plan of trying to get to the outside, running the toss and running the slant, trying to get their speed guys around the corner. SMS definitely made some adjustments at halftime. Take a look at the linebacker scraping, and also a good job right there by number 5, Sean Lockhart, playing off the blocker and coming back and making the play. Watch how he uses his hands right here. And great leverage on the tackle right there. Sean Lockhart definitely a great play that time.
2nd and 9. Glenn finds Walter James trying to get away from the corner, and James take a club in the back from Corky Martin. He was stood up by Dante King. Short yardage on the play. Give him about 3 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for Illinois State at their own 35.
That's what you want to see. Anytime you've got a ball carrier hung up, you want to see those backers sprinting out there and taking shots at those guys. You never know when the ball is going to come out of there and force a turnover. But great job by Corky Martin getting out there and just really punishing the ball carrier that time.
28-17. Southwest Missouri State in the maroon uniforms, playing at home, leading by 11. 3rd down play for quarterback Kevin Glenn. Over the middle, it's been there all night. Why not go to it again? Troy Hunter, 1st down, Illinois State, a gain of 15 to midfield.
And that's a great job by Illinois State. That time what they did is they faked the screen to really make the backers get out of there and think screen, but instead of that, they slide Mr. Bryant underneath, or actually that's Troy Hunter underneath. And you can see right here it's just wide open, but what really set that play up is the fake screen that caused the linebackers to run right out of there.
We've talked about the wide receivers blocking all night. Now there's a crank.
And that's Ricky Garrett again. We saw him earlier on the cornerback, but that's what you want out of your receivers, guys that are going to come up and make some blocks when other people have the football.
Illinois State now using a short passing game. This was the back, Walter James on the catch, hit by Dante King. Short gain, 3 yards, now into SMS territory.
Illinois State comes out with their first drive and looks like they're sticking to business as usual. Let's just do what we do best and not worry about what the defense is doing. Let's just stick to our game plan, which is mixing the ball up.
Davion Kaysen back into the lineup on 2nd and long for Illinois State. We played 4.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. And just a beautiful night in Springfield. And the short drop. This time Glenn skips one to the top of the screen, intended for Troy Hunter. Great crowd on hand tonight. A crowd of over 15,000. You take a look at the Plaster Field complex here. 15,005. Now that's a lot more than a lot of 1A schools will draw. When you look at the bottom end of the 1A, they'd love to have a crowd, JC, of 15,000.
Great crowd, great night. I mean, this is just a perfect place to play football tonight. The crowd is enthusiastic, great weather, and I tell you, there's no better time to play football than with a great crowd and great weather.
All right, Illinois State's going in the shotgun. They have third down and long. Over the middle again. Complete to John Laurenti, who had the touchdown earlier in the game. He's down to the 31. It's a gain of 17. Again, when Illinois State needs a big play, JC, they go to the bubble in the middle.
And that's been killing them all day, killing SMS. And what happens that time? SMS tries to blitz the backers. So there are no backers there, and they just hit them right where they aren't. The backers are coming upfield, and they get blocked. And the middle of the field is wide open. Illinois State is doing a good job of taking advantage of what Southwest Missouri State is giving them. And anytime those backers are out of that middle, you can expect the ball to go there.
Glenn averaging 7 yards of completion tonight, 1st and 10. Illinois State moving. Walter James gets the carry. And he's up to the 25 and gains 7 yards on 1st down. And Illinois State keeping the rhythm that they had in the second quarter, trailing 28-17.
Doing a very good job of keeping SMS off balance with multiple formations and multiple plays from the same look as well. And that time it was the same look as the play before, but instead they give it to the quick hitter Walter James up the middle for a gain of about 7 yards.
Again, James out of Immokalee, Florida. There's a look at Kevin Glenn calling signals. It's James again, same play. Now, I mean, he runs hard. He busts it up inside the B gap and has a first down to the 19 of SMS. Corky Martin, I'd say tackle him, but I think James hit him harder.
That offensive line is really coming off the ball right now. Ted Wolf and Mike Rodbro really coming off the ball up front and just opening up huge holes for Walter James to run through.
So Illinois State trying to answer the touchdown that SMS scored to start the third quarter. 9-11 left third quarter, 28-17. Southwest Missouri with the lead. James, the hot back, stays in the game. Illinois State option. This is James. Not much. Driven out of bounds by P.J. Jones.
That's what makes this Illinois State team so tough to defend is they run the option into the short side of the field. Most teams are going to run it to the wide side to give themselves more room to work, but Illinois State runs it into the sideline. Good defense by SMS to really defend that. Number 48 on the play, P.J. Jones, does a good job of riding Walter Jones out of bounds, and I mean he rode Walter Jones out of bounds.
Second, let's call it 8 for Illinois State. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Glenn over the middle. This time, Castro is defended very well. As the linebacker, Corky Martin, leads SMS in tackling tonight, right there that time waiting on the cross.
And that's how you defend that short crosser. Your backers have to get depth, but also square up so that they can see the crosser coming underneath. What they've been doing up till now is running out of there, crossing over and getting out of there, and they can't see the crosser coming behind them. That time, Corky does a good job of getting depth, squaring up, and coming up and making the tackle.
35 tackles. He led the team 2 years ago as a redshirt freshman in tackles. Third and long for Illinois State. On third down, the Redbirds 50%, 4 of 8. This is James on third down and 8. They hand it off to Walter James. Interesting call. He'll gain short yardage to the 13. It's a gain of 4. And it's going to be 4th and about 4. Call it 5. So Todd Berry on third and long, trying to catch Southwest Missouri sleeping, but the Bears defend the run. And then they're going to go for it here, 4th down and 5. 28-17 SMS. Glenn, bootleg. Trying to get away from the defenders. Throws late for the end zone, and the pass is broken up in the end zone. Well defended. 3 different Bears defending in the end zone. Scott Preisker was there for Illinois State.
That boot fooled absolutely no one. SMS was all over not only the quarterback, Kevin Glenn, but the receiver downfield. He was actually triple covered. And that was a very interesting call on 4th down. You kick the field goal and you're only down 8 points, Mitch. Long time to go in the ball game, but instead they turned the ball over deep in SMS territory. You see number 13 right here does a good job. John Eckridge does a good job of getting upfield and throwing the rhythm of this play off. Downfield, there's great coverage, and there's really nowhere to throw the ball. No one is open. Good job of defense by SMS.
SMS keeps an 11-point lead. The Bears lead the nationally ranked Redbirds 28-17, middle third. Back and stuffed on their first play of this drive. Jason Ringana gets it and gains nothing. So it's 2nd and 10 for Southwest Missouri State. As Todd Berry hoping his team can get it back quickly. 7:04 left in the third quarter. 28-17. The lead belongs to Southwest Missouri State. Here's a look at Jason Ringana. Pretty good night's work. 51 yards on 15 carries. Rogers in the shotgun. Long pass play, and this time throws behind Tacoma Fontaine. Good coverage, one of the better coverages tonight by the Redbirds.
Providing coverage to the Redbirds.
That time they've got the outside linebacker, Adam Waugh, covering a wide receiver, but Waugh is actually only 6 foot, 195 pounds, so he is kind of that rover type of player that can play linebacker as well as play some defensive back as well.
3rd and 10 here now for the Southwest Missouri State Bears. Bears only lost this year to 1A, the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. You saw Randy Ball, the winningest 1AA coach in the nation the past 3 years. Illinois State is going to be called for a 5-yard penalty again. JC trying to time the blitz. We've seen him burn twice in jumping into the neutral zone.
Yeah, you can't time the blitz. You've got to watch the football and go on movement. From a defensive standpoint, that's just a mental breakdown, and he knows it right there, and his players are telling him, hey, you've got to go on movement and watch the football. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And anytime you're guessing in this league, in this game, you're going to get caught eventually.
Tim Angston was the guy trying to blitz.
Prior to the snap, offside defense, 5-yard penalty.
And now it gives SMS 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10. 6:40 left in the third quarter. Angston, defensive play caller, senior out of Chicago. Didn't play last year. Had some academic deficiencies, but back on the team this year and already has 3 sacks this year. We haven't seen, though, the kind of tackles for losses that the Redbirds had in their first 3 games tonight.
That's because SMS was doing a good job of keeping them off balance. They tried that attacking, blitzing style early on, but they were getting hit right in the mouth. SMS was running the ball right down their throat, so instead they had to not be as aggressive and try to make some plays, and SMS did a good job, as well as in this first drive, the second half, of mixing their play calling up, throwing the ball quickly outside as well as pounding it inside to keep this Redbird defense on its heels.
Had a delay in the game. The referee went running over to the Southwest Missouri State sideline. 3rd and 5 for the Bears. Ringana and Smith in the backfield. Now you see him split the backfield behind Rogers. Rogers has the seam lined up Hewitt inside. Normally an outside receiver lined up inside, and has a gain to the 30, 11-yard pickup and a first down.
And that's that 3-step drop again, and the reason why they're doing that, to not allow this Illinois State attacking defense to get to the quarterback. So what do? They take 3 steps and let the ball go right away.
6:30 left in the game. The home team winning here. Take a look at this now. With the 2 scores that we have tonight, no team in the Gateway has a road win this season, or no home team has lost. And so Todd Berry has a challenge here. Now breaking into the secondary is Jason Ringana. Ringana is going to go all the way for an SMS touchdown. It is going to be a run of 70 yards by Jason Ringana, one of the longest runs in his career, and SMS now takes a 34-17 lead.
And that's just a great job, and that's what happens when you're pounding the ball inside. Sooner or later, you're going to break one. You want to wear the other team down. You keep them off balance, and it's coming right at you. Look at that offensive line. Look at the hole right here, the cross blocks, and the rest is all Ringana. He makes one move, and the rest is history. It's just a foot race now, and Ringana wins this. We said he's not a big, flashy guy. He just gets the job done, and this time he gets it done for 70 yards.
And Ringana now over 100 yards rushing. That'll put him right around 120 for the game. Travis Bronner will try the point after, and it's perfect. And Southwest Missouri State, with 14 points here in the third quarter, advances to an 18-point advantage. 6:10 left in the third. The Bears hit them big and lead 35-17. Rawlings presents our Gateway Football Conference Player of the Week. It's flanker Jeff Hewitt of Southwest Missouri State. Hewitt, an explosive player both in special teams and from the line of scrimmage, proved it last week against Henderson State with a 66-yard return. Plus, he has 10 career touchdown receptions, and last year had over 100 yards in receiving against Illinois State. Our Rawlings Gateway Football Conference Player of the Week, Jeff Hewitt of Southwest Missouri State. A 90-yard kickoff return by Avion Cason.
And they needed that big time. And Cason obviously is a big play guy. And he's a guy that they want to have the ball in his hands. And why? Because of this. He already has returned 100 yards. And here he goes again. They fake the reverse. They've been doing it every time. And they can't allow a guy like Cason to get in the open field. Right here against the kicker, that's a mismatch right there. Cason just uses his speed, but did good job by the safety, Dante King, to take the angle and cut off a guy like Cason, because he is really motoring right now and really was a big play for Illinois State. They needed that in a bad way.
Walter James on the pitch. And he can get to the 9, and that's it. Just a gain of 1. Let's go down to Rich Baldinger.
Yeah, Mitch, I was down here over on the Southwest Missouri sidelines over there, and, you know, we've been talking about the middle of the field opening up for Illinois State here in the second half. The one thing the defensive coordinator commented to his players about, and I think, JC, you could comment on this, he said on the trips formation, they've got to get wider, number one, and number two, they've got to communicate the picks. They haven't been doing that. We've seen it happen here, even against the linebackers here, and Corey Martin, P.J. Jones in the first half. So look at them trying to communicate better and also getting wider on the trips formation.
Quarterback draw, Glenn, forget about it. Touchdown, Illinois State. Kevin Glenn, his fourth rushing touchdown this season on the quarterback draw. And Illinois State right back in the game, J.C. Pearson, with a long kick return. And now a quarterback draw by Kevin Glenn.
And that's what they needed to get some momentum. Back swinging to their side is to get on the scoreboard quickly. What they did that time was they went trips to the wide side of the football field. It spreads Southwest Missouri's defense out, left the middle of the field wide open again for the quarterback draw.
Jake Strader will try the point after. And he kicks it into the wind. Illinois State will get the wind in the fourth quarter. And let's take a look at Kevin Glenn and his quarterback draw.
And when Kevin Glenn is running the ball, he is really a running back. And you can see right here, there is nobody in the middle of the field. They had the safety cheated over to the trip side, and that was just a great call by Kevin Glenn for the quarterback keeper up the middle. And as we said, when he's running the ball, he's really a running back, Mitch.
And Rich was just talking about communication with the linebackers. And that time there was barely a linebacker in the picture.
And that's what's been killing them all night. They've been getting spread out with that three-receiver set and overplaying. And that time what they probably did was they were thinking the crosser underneath and overplayed that. And instead they got hit with the quarterback draw right up the middle.
Don't think with this kid in the shack that this game will end until the gun sounds, because he's going to give you a chance to win no matter what the deficit.
We've got a long ways to go.
Last year they played a 49-42 game. Illinois State and Kevin Glenn, you see, having a snack on his mouthpiece. Kevin Glenn had a 20-point lead twice last year and could not win the game.
And let's take a look at the defensive front. What they want those guys to do is get upfield. So they're going to allow them to get upfield outside because they know Kevin Glenn is running right up the middle. Take a look at the linebacker right here. Walter James just gets a hat on him, and it's a no contest. All you've got to do is get a hat on somebody just momentarily, and Kevin Glenn is by you.
Illinois State showing a pooch kick here. They have lined up in a formation. They're either kicking an onside or a pooch kick. It is a pooch kick, high and into the wind. taken by the up returner. And he's going to get a nice return to the 42-yard line. Thate King. So Illinois State's at kicking into the wind. They elect a pooch kick instead of kicking it deep, and Southwest Missouri State will have good field position.
Southwest Missouri made a good adjustment by getting their returner, Thate King, up closer to the kick to the line of scrimmage, because what Illinois State wanted to do was hopefully get a lineman or a guy not accustomed to handling the football in that position, pooch it to him, and hoping that he would fumble the ball. Good adjustment by SMS.
The Bears, who have hit Illinois State in the mouth with a couple of touchdowns here in the third quarter, leading 35-24. 5 minutes left in the third. Rogers on play action. In trouble. Eludes one defender. Has a man wide open on the sideline. Chance Thurman to the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 16. And if we're going to brag up Kevin Glenn and his mobility, we need to do the same on that play for Jay Rogers.
Oh, great play by Jay Rogers and also by Chance Thurman, because what the receiver does is he sees his quarterback in trouble. So what does he do? He stops right on the sideline and comes back and gives his quarterback a target. But let's also credit Jay Rogers, as you said, Mitch, because he showed a lot of mobility on that play as well, and it's very strong arm throwing on the run.
First and 10 Bears. Movement. This time it'll probably be on SMS. It looked like the left tackle, Eric Owens, might have jumped. And one guy that we've not called a lot, as you take a look at Eric Owens, the senior from Creston, Iowa. We called for the false start. One guy that we've not talked about a lot on the defensive line of Illinois State. We'll try to get a shot of him. Number 96, Devin Thinn. A senior who's getting a lot of looks from NFL scouts. He's 6'7" and 280, but so far tonight, he has not provided the big play against this SMS offensive line like Eric Owens.
He definitely has the great size, as you said, 6 feet.
Todd Berry is unhappy, and I think he's got reason. They're going to rule that a neutral zone infraction against his defense and move it 5 yards, and he saw what we saw, and that was the left tackle moving prior to his guy jumping in to the neutral zone. Out of the eye, counter. This is Ringden again, and he's got a first down. Spinning off the hit of Damian Gregory, and the Bears move it down the field. First down at the 28 of Illinois State.
That offensive line is doing a good job of coming off, but also this guy right here, the fullback, Demetrius Smith, all 6'2" and 275 pounds of him, is doing a great job of blocking. He is searching and finding those inside linebackers and destroying them. And I tell you, these big guys up front, as well as him in the backfield, and look at him right here, just driving the defender. And that's all you need. And hey, that's not the time to get mad, Mitch. You got to line up and play again. Don't get mad if you're getting blocked. You just got to step up and make a play.
Ringden this time short yardage. Demetrius Smith, number 6, we saw him on the last block. Was a transfer, started his career at the University of Michigan. Here's a look at Demetrius Smith, former Michigan Wolverine.
And he is a punishing fullback, and that's the kind of guy you want to run behind. If I was Ringena, he'd be my best friend. I'd be feeding him every day, even though maybe that's how he got the 275.
He's like trying to tackle the neighborhood trash truck coming through there. Second down and 10 in the shotgun. They fake the screen, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And it's knocked down by Damian Gregory. He's made the last 3 plays for Illinois State. Getting his old teammate, Indiana versus Indiana, to knock it down. It looked like it was set up.
A little point shaving going on there? No, not at all. These guys want to win too badly to do anything like that. But anytime you can play against a friend or a former teammate, you definitely want to get bragging rights and get the best of them.
3:51 left third quarter, 35-24 SMS. Third and long here now for the Bears. Rogers with pressure. Deep middle, it's wide open. Touchdown, Southwest Missouri State. Jeff Hewitt, his second of the quarter. And Alfred Corbin, the corner, was blown away on a deep post pattern.
That's what happens when you've got this attacking style defense. Something has to give. And when you're attacking and you're trying to get to the quarterback and you've got 8 guys in the box, Obviously, everyone outside is man-to-man. That time, the middle of the field is wide open, and Hewitt just uses his speed and runs right away from Alfred Corbin. And you can see right here, he just gives him a little out hint, and Corbin is looking at the quarterback, and that's what you can't do as a cornerback, is watch the quarterback, because otherwise you're going to be watching from the bench after a while, and you can see that can't happen very much, but Jeff Hewitt just sprints by him for a touchdown.
5 plays, 56 yards. Bronner with the point after. 42-24. These two teams just back and forth. 3:46 left in the third quarter. It looked like Illinois State had regained a little of their sauce when they came back to score on the Glenn quarterback draw, JC, but then SMS comes right back. And Jeff Hewitt so far has been dominating the secondary of Illinois State.
And offensively, they are clicking right now. Jay Rogers is on target with everything he's throwing. Ringena is killing them inside, running the ball, and that is opening everything. But let's take a look at the replay and watch the cornerback, Corbin, right here at the bottom of the screen. Right there, he gets him in, and look at his head at the quarterback instead of on the wide receiver. And you're never going to cover a guy like that because the guy is running away from you. There's no help in the middle. He should stay inside, force the receiver to stay outside of him. And as you can see, it's 6 points.
Spoken like a guy who's played a little bit of defensive back in his day.
Spoken like a guy who he has been caught looking at the quarterback a number of times.
And here's a look at the contemplation of Alfred Corbin.
And that's the feeling of a cornerback. I mean, hey, when you get beat and messed up, the whole world sees. And obviously he knows that he shouldn't have been looking at the quarterback, number one. But when they're blitzing, he's got to stay inside of the wide receiver.
18-point lead once again for SMS. 3:46 left, third quarter. Kason, 199 return yards in this game. He's going to be getting close to some kind of record. He's not going to get a chance here because Travis Bronner wisely kicks it beyond the playing field. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, which I'm sure Randy Ball was wondering, why did he do that the last time? On the 90-yard kick return.
You definitely don't want Kason with the ball in his hand, so either you kick it through the end zone or kick it away from him, even kick it out of bounds. It's better than him running down the sideline for 90 or 100 yards on you again.
Hey, you can go to the web and check out the Gateway Football Conference. Here's the address on the World Wide Web, .gatewayfootball, no spacing, .org. New name, new look. Kason, again, they clear out the middle, and he'll get decent yardage, 10 yards up to the 30. So they go right back to the middle.
And SMS is taking those deep drops again. They want to keep the ball in front of them, come up and make the tackle, make Illinois State work for what they get. If they're going to drive down the field and score, you want those guys to do it underneath. You don't want to give them the play over the top to give them a quick 6 points and get back in this ball game.
They'll call it a gain of 9 3/4. You look at the SMS linebackers. P.J. Jones. 3:05 left, third quarter. Kevin Glenn with time, throwing it long. Wants Ricky Garrett and overthrows it. And that throw was into the wind.
And almost right on the money. Good coverage by Bryant out there on the outside, and that's what they don't want to do. They don't want to give up the home run ball. They want to make Illinois State throw that ball underneath to give those guys a chance to come up and make the tackle and line up again.
Now it's third down and less than a yard for the Redbirds. 2:55 left in the third quarter. Kevin Glenn. Under the center, Ted Wolf. Glenn with the sneak, he's got it. Wolf and Mike Rodbro, the right guard. Nice push, and Illinois State will move the chains.
That's what they've got to do. They've got to try to control this ball, get some points on the board, and keep the ball away from SMS. Coming into the ball game, we thought it was going to be the other way around, Mitch. We thought SMS was going to have to try to keep the ball away from Illinois State. But it's not like that. SMS wants the ball because their offense is really rolling right now.
Been a beautiful night here in Springfield and a great crowd of over 15,000. A lot of activity on this campus today. 1st and 10. Long count by Glenn. He'll option again. Kicks it to Kason. Kason explodes to the 37. Gain of about 7. Hit hard by Mike Gailey, the free safety for the Bears.
That's how a free safety is supposed to feel on that option. He is responsible for the pitch man, and he's coming downhill. He's got about a 10-yard head start, and he's got to come in and lay the hat on the running back. Did a good job that time. Mike Gailey coming from a long way. Let's take a listen. That's how you lay the hat. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear your free safety coming in and laying the wood on somebody. Good job by Mike Gailey.
2nd and 5. Play fake. Wide open. They dump it. They hit, but still a catch. As Scott Preisker hangs onto the football, he was popped by Dante King.
Yeah, but those little cornerbacks, they've got to know who they're hitting. That time, little Dante King runs up on Preisker at 255 pounds, and you're not going to knock those big guys down with a shot like that. So you got to know who you're hitting and what time you're actually going to hit those guys. If he sees you, buddy, you better go low on a big guy like that.
Preisker, that Airborne Ranger dude, who's also got the 3rd best squat on this football team. In the weight room, 3rd and 2. 70 seconds left, 3rd quarter, 42-24 SMS on 3rd and short. They give it to Walter James. And on a little second push, let's see where they spot the football. It looks like a fortuitous spot at the 42, and if that's the case, it would be an Illinois State first down. Kevin Glenn in control of this team, running, passing leader on and off the field.
Very smart quarterback. He's a guy that is the leader not only on the football field, but off the football field. And when he's on the field, you know he's in control. When you take a look at him, you know he is the man that can get it done.
1st and 10 for Kevin Glenn. 1st and 10 for the Redbirds. Glenn, play fake. Wide open again over the middle. It's John Larennie. Larennie at the 35. And it is a gain for Illinois State of 22 yards and a first down.
And I can't say enough, Mitch, about the arm of this guy, Kevin Glenn. I mean, that was a bullet. You see right here, just a play pass to hold the linebackers again. And look at that. When he sets up, that ball is gone and out of there and right on the money.
Kevin Glenn, a finalist for the Walter Payton Award for the top college football player at the 1AA level. There are 10 finalists for that award. Glenn is one of them. He'll toss it. They're going to throw it back to Glenn. No, they're going to throw it long. Kason is going to throw an interception. In the end zone, Mike Gailey picks it off on a poor throw by the running back, Avion Kason, and the Illinois State drive is thwarted.
Well, there's a reason that Avion Kason is a running back and not a quarterback, and obviously that was it right there. If anything, he should have thrown the ball back across the field to Kevin Glenn. He was wide open and no defender within 10 yards, but this is why he's not a quarterback, obviously. He just throws it up for grabs. There is nobody there, but Gailey, the free safety, does a good job of minding his own business and doing his job and not coming up on the run fake, but playing the pass and playing center field like he's supposed to do.
And I kind of wonder about Ricky Garrett right here. Does he not run his route correctly on that time, or it looks like he almost stopped on the route?
Well, the ball really shouldn't have been thrown at all, and obviously that's why Kason is a running back instead of the quarterback.
They're going to rule this not as a touchback. They're going to rule it that it was down at the 2-yard line when he made the interception. So Illinois State gets a little bit of a break in the fact that the Bears have the ball at their own 2, and they give it off to the huge fullback that we were talking about earlier, the 275-pound Demetrius Smith, and that's the last play of the 3rd quarter. We played 3. The Bears, big time here in the 3rd quarter with 21 points. They lead 42-24 over Illinois State.
Now in its 15th season, the 7-member Gateway Football Conference, comprised of Illinois State, Indiana State, Northern Iowa, Southern Illinois, Southwest Missouri State, Western Illinois, and Youngstown State, is quality, nicely competitive NCAA 1AA scholarship football, the best in the Midwest.
One of the fun things about this league, it's great coaches, it's great players, it's great atmospheres.
But it's a great league. I call it a dog-eat-dog type league. You have to show up every Saturday and be ready to play. There are no patsies in this league, and and I think the coaches in the league do a tremendous job.
There are no teams that you can put a circle around saying, hey, this is a win. On the other side of the coin, I feel like any team can, win any game.
Gateway football stands alone among 1AA conferences, advancing every league member to the NCAA playoffs. The
Springfield, Missouri, huddling in the end zone along with the SMS Bears. They lead 42-24 as we begin playing the fourth quarter here. SMS with 21 third quarter points. Now they're backed up with second down and 6. Bringing it. Big Knight surrounded this time. Short yardage in Illinois State. Takes him down. Let's go back to the halfback pass. Watch this, JC, as SMS says, trick play this.
Rich, freeze it right there, Mitch. When you throw a pass as bad as Kason threw, you got to pay the price. He still gets slammed to the turf, and you know what? He actually deserved it that time for a pass that bad. You got to pay the price. And that time, he threw the ball terribly and still got slammed to the turf.
And he, like his buddy before, we had the great shot on the bench. Alfred Corbin contemplates the play. But now Illinois State trying to hold on defense. The Bears, 3rd down and 4 from their own 8, leading 42-24. Rogers, little counter play. Ringana is hit and taken down short of the first down. Tim Angston right there jumps into the gap and puts a nice one-on-one hit on Jason Ringana.
Illinois State really needs a turnover right now to get themselves back in this ball game. They don't have a turnover all night, and they rely on their defense to get them the ball and get their offense in position to score some points. You can see he's just gambling now. He's trying to shoot every gap possible, and actually he gets in there and is able to get back up and make the play. But Illinois State, you can look for those guys to start gambling to try to create some turnovers.
Now, Southwest Missouri State must punt into the wind. A strong south wind here. Runners had 3 punts with a 36-yard average. But this time we'll punt into the wind. And a flag's thrown. It's delay of game on Southwest Missouri State. They were trying to draw the Illinois State Redbirds off because on 4th and 2, if it would have been an offside penalty, it would have been a first down for SMS. Now the problem for SMS here, JC, it'll move the ball if Illinois State takes the penalty back to about the 5, meaning SMS may not have the full 15-yard snap here. It'll be close. Looks like they've got about all they need, but still backed up now. Bronner.
Delay of game on the offense, half the distance penalty, still 4th down.
Bronner will have a full 15 yards on the snap, but his back heel is near the end line. There's a good look at it.
There is no room for error on this punt. And you can look for Illinois State to bring the heat to him, because if you don't get to it, at least you force him to rush the punt and possibly can force him into shanking one.
Illinois State comes hard. Bronner gets a decent kick into the wind. Ziccola will take it at the 40. And go down at the 36. It's good field position for Illinois State. Let's stay here with 13-18 left in the game. Southwest Missouri State 42 and Illinois State 24.
And that's what Illinois State wanted. They wanted to get their offense in great field position. They start on the opponent's 36-yard line going into the end zone, and that's exactly what they want. They need to get some points on the board quickly here to get back in this ball game.
Andy King, Dan Hama, Ted Wolf, Mike Rodbro, Aaron Peterson on the front 5 for this great quarterback, Kevin Glenn. Glenn's team trailing by 18, and his team is ranked 13th in the nation now in 1AA football. Little check down pass. Kason isolated. Here goes that speed. Great move. Forget it. Touchdown, Illinois State. What a hip wiggler move by Avion Kason on that check down play.
Some shake on that play by Avion Kason. You've got to get this ball. We were talking about they need points quickly. This is the guy that can do it, that's for sure. And this is a design play. This is just a design play to get him the ball outside. The receivers are already blocking downfield. You can see the receivers right there blocking. They just want to get him some space. Watch yourself. Oh, got Mike Gailey right there. On the shake right there. Mike Gailey obviously had some big plays tonight, but right now he was reaching for air as he got shook big time by Avion Kason.
Break it off. A 36-yard touchdown play. And the point after is no good. A point after is missed by Jake Strader. He has the wind at his back, and he hooks it left. And instead of trailing by 11, SMS leads, or I should say Illinois State trails.
Wow, very impressive. That young man is explosive.
And put a move on that D-back. He's still trying to figure out what's going on. He had an 80-yard run last year, Kason did, against Kansas. He just outran the entire Kansas team just on a simple toss. And this kid has 1A kind of speed.
Oh, most definitely. He's a guy that needs to get the ball as much and as often as possible because, as we said in the open, he can break it and take it to the house on any given play.
42-30, the point after was missed by Kason's teammate, Jake Strader. So, Illinois State was pooch kicked from Strader the last time, but that was going into the wind. Look at this. They'll line up in a tight kickoff coverage look. As you see him scrambling around. And Strader kicks it free. But returnable. Dante King. Dante King hit and taken down at the 26. Illinois State saying they have the football.
And that ball is out.
And they got it. Illinois State's got it back. A huge hit on the kick return, and Illinois State, trailing by 12, has it back.
And that's what we talked about they needed. They needed some turnovers to get back into this ball game. They got the quick score, the kickoff, with the big hit on the kickoff coverage unit to force the fumble, and now they are right back in business. Let's take a look right here. Good job right here of getting his hat on the ball, and the ball just squirts out right there, and that is a fumble. And Illinois State is right, Johnny on the spot, to get back in business offensively.
We want to give a proper credit to the special teams hit. It was, now we'll chase it down. Illinois State with it, Kevin Glenn, and he's got it to Garrett. Little deep hitch, and it's going to go for a gain of 7 yards. Edgar Biddles. Edgar Biddles out of Detroit, Michigan, same high school as Kevin Glenn, was the man who made the hit, and to give Ricky Garrett and Kevin Glenn and the Illinois State Redbirds the ball now deep in SMS territory.
And that was a big turnover, and they needed that badly. And I'm sure they talked about it on the sideline, and that was a big, big play to get these guys back in the ball game.
Handoff, Kason, stuck. Up the middle, no gain. The 2nd and 2 play stopped by that big middle of Southwest Missouri State's defensive line. "12 minutes left in the game and clicking away, 42-30. Southwest Missouri State leading Illinois State. SMS. Their defense. Trying to get it done here. You just saw Angelo Banks. 3rd down and 2 for Illinois State. Real option. This is Kason on the pitch. 1st down at the 13 of SMS.
And I tell you, this guy, Mitch, is fast. When he gets the ball and he turns north and south, he is burning rubber out there. And I mean, that acceleration is very, very impressive. And that's why he's such a threat on every play, because he's so explosive. Watch when he gets the ball right here and he turns it up. Bang, he plants that foot, and he is north and south. And when you got a guy that big and that fast, I mean, he is a load to bring down, and you can't arm tackle a guy like him. You got to wrap him up.
Illinois State trailing by 12. Has a 1st and 10 at the 13. They'll use the shotgun here in the red zone. They ran a draw the last time. This not a design draw, but a move by Kevin Glenn. He'll get to the 9 and gain about 4 yards. He lost his footing. That time it didn't look like it was a straight QB draw.
Kevin Glenn is a very heady quarterback. It could have just been something that he saw in the defense that he was going to try to exploit and take advantage of.
Kevin Glenn, 284 yards passing. Thrown for a couple. He's run for 1. 2nd down. Illinois State has the ball at the 10. Walter James, the lone setback. Glenn wants James again with the check down. This is going to be a touchdown for Illinois State. Same play they ran. Davion Kason.
Same play, different guy. Might as well have been the same guy. They are both extremely fast, and that is a design play to get those guys on the outside around the corner. The receivers are downfield blocking, and it is a very tough play for SMS to stop. We'll take a look at this one. This is the first touchdown. I'm going to break this down like Mike Gailey got broke down. You see right here, the receivers are already downfield blocking. That leaves Kason one-on-one with Mike Gailey right there, and he just shakes him to death for a touchdown. And just a second ago, the exact same play. You see this time it's Walter James, and the receivers are downfield blocking again. He just uses his speed to get to the outside and just stroll into the end zone. That's a good job of play calling by Illinois State to get those guys around the outside.
A 27-yard, 5-play drive. Illinois State back in the game, trailing 42-37. Illinois State with 13 unanswered points. There's a look at Walter James, who just scored a touchdown. You know, on those little flare patterns, sometimes it's you kind of lose track of the way the quarterback can throw the football. We're going to take a look at Kevin Glenn throwing it in a little bit. But now Illinois State shows an interesting kick formation again. By a college rule, you still have to have 4 guys on one side of the field. Take a look at the lower right of your screen. There's 4 guys. Now they break into a regular type set. So they're just messing with SMS's mind here.
They're just trying to confuse the blocking scheme for SMS. Hopefully be able to get down there, tackle the ball carrier deep in their own territory, or even cause another turnover.
When you're back within 5, you got the wind at your back. You ought to just hammer this thing to the dormitory.
That would be ideal.
10:38 left in the game, so still just gobs of time. And impressive the way Illinois State has come back. But it was just the reverse last year. SMS trailed by 20 points 2 different times to this Illinois State team, only to come back and win the game 49-42. Tonight it's been just the opposite. Line drive kick won't be returned. Let's go back now to the check down touchdown pass and where Kevin Glenn puts the football.
And they made it look easy, but this is why it looks so easy. Take a look at Kevin Glenn and watch this throw. I mean, this is a pretty throw. Nice and soft. The running back catches it right in stride. He doesn't have to turn his body. He doesn't have to wait on it. He catches it right in stride. The rest is history. All he has to do is use his speed to get to the end zone.
You know, it's an excellent point, JC, because we've seen the kid has a rocket arm. But sometimes guys will be able to throw it hard and not have the touch. He's got it all.
He's got it all, and that's what they were saying in the pregame. They would not trade Kevin Glenn for any quarterback in the entire country. And that's saying a lot.
Illinois State blitzing, bootleg play. Rogers is going to scramble. His receivers were covered. He'll lose a yard. Finally, Devin Finn in on a play, but also there Nick Gomez, I think, for Illinois State. As Randy Ball now, his team was up 42-24 just minutes ago, and all of a sudden he's clinging to a 5-point lead.
Huge momentum swing, and SMS has got to get back to their offensive game plan, try to control the ball and the clock, and get back to that smash mouth aggressive running game.
Ringina in the backfield along with Demetrius Smith. Rogers wants to go to the outside. Interception, Illinois State. Interception by Alfred Corbin, the guy that was just burned moments ago, and the Redbirds take the lead on the first interception of the season thrown by Jay Rogers of Southwest Missouri State.
And I tell you, as a cornerback, that's what happens. You're the hero one play and you're the GOAT the next, and that's a good job by Alfred Corbin to keep his head in the ball game and come up with a huge play on the interception and take it in for a touchdown.
A 26-yard interception return for a touchdown. Let's look at it again.
And this is just a 3-step drop. They've been running them all day long. This time the ball just gets away from the quarterback. And I tell you what, Corbin is just in the right place at the right time, makes the play, and it's just an easy stroll into the end zone. And the quarterback right there, I tell you what, he's just feeling terrible. That's his first interception of the season. Couldn't come at a worse time and also go for 6 points.
Alfred Corbin last year had an interception for a touchdown against Kentucky State, but that was a non-league game. This is a league game, and the 13th-ranked Redbirds lead 43-42. There is an injured player being helped off the field. That's linebacker Hamilton Wells. But now with a 1-point lead, JC, the obvious thing here is to go for 2 with a 1-point advantage now for Illinois State with 9:47 left in the game.
Yes, and that way a field goal cannot beat you. They've got to score to beat you. And that's why you'll see Illinois State coming out with their offense again, going for the 2-point conversion.
And Illinois State comes out with an interesting set here. One back. It's Kason. 3 receivers to the right. Keep in mind in college, the defense can score on this play. Glenn. No. Intended for the wide receiver, John Laurenti. So the lead is 1.
And that was a catchable ball. I tell you, Glenn just rifled that ball out there again and gave no one but the receiver the chance to catch the ball. And the receiver should have come up with the ball and the 2-point conversion.
Those go for 2 plays, not necessarily when there's some anxiety there because if a defense player can pick it off and run it all the way back, they can get 2 points, which I think is a great rule. I like to see it put into football at all levels.
I tell you what a difference a few plays make. The last time we saw him sitting on the bench, he was not a happy camper after getting beat by Hewitt for the touchdown. But right now, he's feeling much better about himself, standing up, talking. The last time we saw him, he was sitting on the bench with his head in his hands.
43-42, Illinois State. 9:47 left in the game. This crowd was stunned earlier. Now they're trying to rally their football team. They led, JC, 42-24 at one point. And now all of a sudden they trail 43-42.
Wide open, fast break football at its finest.
Fontaine and King back to take this kick. Rapid fire points by Illinois State. A couple of little check down swing passes to 2 very fast running backs, Avion Kason and Walter James. And now an interception return for a touchdown.
When you've got players on offense like Kevin Glenn, Walter James, and Avion Kason, you're always in the ball game because those guys, all 3 of them, can take it to the house on any given play.
Strader, this boot, taken by Fontaine, deep in the end zone, will come out to the 20. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here's Rich Balding.
Yeah, I'm over here on the sidelines, Mitch, and once again, I was listening to the defensive coordinator here with Southwest Missouri State, and he's just telling his guys pretty much going to have to go with man defense because they're having trouble with reading all the different receivers coming out of the different formations, and they're just causing too much mass confusion. So he's saying, listen, match up with them, stay with your man all the way. That's what we saw here on their 2-point try, and they did a better job of coverage and keeping Illinois State from getting a 2-point. Back to you.
Jay Rogers, who just threw his first interception of the season and his first interception in 91 attempts, is going to empty the backfield here on first down. They put the big fullback as a tight end. They're going to come on that sprint screen to Hewitt. Hewitt breaks a tackle and gets away. He was stopped for no gain and ends up gaining 12 yards. Galen Scott finally stopped him. But Jeff Hewitt showed a little bit of the shake and bake that those Illinois State backs have shown.
And both teams are doing a good job of getting the ball to their playmakers. Illinois State have been getting the ball to Kason and Jones all day long and James all day long. And now SMS comes back and gets the ball to Hewitt because they know that those guys can get the job done. And when you need it most, you go to the guys who can get it done.
SMS back to a base set. Again, Illinois State trying to shoot a gap. This time, no penalty. Ringana will gain yardage to the 39. And it's a 6-yard gain on first down.
And there's no need to panic if you're SMS right now. You are still very much in this ball game. You're only down 1 point right now. A lot of time left on the clock. Stick to your game plan. Stick with what got you here. Hammer the ball, run the ball, mix it up with the quick 3-step drops and see if you cannot get a score.
Randy Ball working hard on that Southwest Missouri State sideline. Jay Rogers started his career in the Big Ten. Sees a middle blitz. Fontaine, first down. SMS at the 47. It's a gain of 8.
As we talked about, those quick drops, stick with your game plan. That's a very dangerous throw, throwing that quick out to the wide side of the football field because that ball has to go a long, long ways. You can see the quick 3-step drop. He does a good job of throwing it out there, but that ball has to travel a long, long ways, and that's a very dangerous pass, and you don't like to see that very often, but they got a lot of room outside, so they were able to complete it.
This time the Bears will run it. Ringana off tackle. And a nice run as he'll gain it for about 5 yards into Illinois State territory to the 47. Give him 6. as the free safety Sam Young, who has been busy tonight, the second leading tackler on this Illinois State team coming into tonight. Ringana, 22 carries, 143 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Many times hit by Sam Young. 7:50 left in the game. 43-42 Illinois State. There's Jason Ringana. Had a 70-yard run for a touchdown in the third quarter. Rogers. A lot of movement. Ringana runs hard first down and just takes Illinois State, a whole flock of birds, takes the whole nest to the 37.
And that's what we talked about. Stick with what got you here. Power the football up the middle behind those big linemen and Steely, Light, and Harriger in the middle, and just stick right behind those guys. And also you've got the big guy right here, Demetrius Smith, in the backfield. Just power it in the middle. Use your strength and your size, and you can see it takes about 4 or 5 guys to bring him down. But look at those big linemen way downfield, Mitch, also trying to help Ringana get any extra yardage that he possibly can.
Well, what's the old song? You can't roller skate in a Buffalo herd. Forget it. Don't tell that to Ringana. He roller skates again, dashing down to the 34 and gaining 4 yards. SMS with 7 minutes left in the game and counting. 43-42 Illinois State. The team in white ranked 13th in the country in 1AA football has a 1-point lead.
And they're in no hurry and no panic by SMS right now. They know all they need is a field goal to win this football game. So they're going to continue to hammer this football. And not only does it get them in good field goal position, it also runs time off the clock.
You need to know, as you take a look at the Illinois State sideline, trying to exhort their team to get it done. SMS is moving into the wind. Keep that in mind. It'll make a field goal all that much tougher. Flag on the play. Illinois State's outside. And Hewitt, Jeff Hewitt, gets up to the 29.
And that's another example of a mental error by Illinois State defensively. If you're going to blitz, you've got to go on movement. You can't anticipate the snap count, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get drawn off sides. You're going to give the offense a free play. We'll take a look. We don't see it here, but inside they're guessing the snap count, trying to get to the quarterback and get off on the snap, but you've got to wait for the snap before you can go.
The Bears gained about 5 yards in the play, but they're going to be able to pick up 5 yards and repeat second downs.
Offside defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
A lot of scoring here tonight, 85 points. And Illinois State leading 43-42, 6:24 left in the game. 2nd and 2. Rogers hit in the backfield. It's Bino Gore. It wasn't Ringana. They put the freshman Bino Gore in, and he gets pounded for a loss back at the 31.
Tim Angston, that's a guy that we've been seeing all night long, creeping to the line of scrimmage, trying to shoot the gap between the guard and the center, and that time he just is able to get through. He doesn't get drawn off sides, and he's able to get through and make a tackle for the loss.
Take a look at this. We might be making history tonight in our first Gateway Conference telecast. The highest scoring game in the league, 93. Tonight we're at 85. Last year these two teams scored 91 points. Rogers trying to dump it and can't get it. Intended for Chance Thurman. It was knocked down by Scott Cook.
And that would have been a huge play, and he probably would still be running right now. Scott Cook, the defensive end, just drops under that quick throw and almost comes up with a huge play for Illinois State.
Travis Bronner will try to give SMS the lead. It is marked down at the 38. It would be a 48-yard try, but it is into a stiff south wind. A stiff south wind. His longest in his career, 52 yards, but he hits it pretty well. Drifting, no good. It goes just wide left. And that ball went left, back to the right, and turned left right at the end, just left of the left upright.
Had plenty of leg.
We are going to step aside. Illinois State protects its 43-42 lead. 5:29 left in the game. A heck of a game. Illinois State 43, Southwest Missouri 42. 5:29 left in the game. Now Illinois State needs to run some time off the clock. No, they're not. They're going to throw it long. and they overthrow Steve Costro and ran all of 5 seconds off the clock. Let's go down to Rich Baldinger.
Yeah, Mitch, we're talking about number 6, Demetrius Smith here. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about an emotional leader for this team, Southwest Missouri State. We're going to watch him here. He's going to go out, doesn't get the best block outside, turns the corner, but this is why everybody likes him, follows him. This guy's got a nasty attitude. This is what he's going to do on every play. He's going to get a pop in there. That's why that guy, at maybe about 295, JC, after he has his pizzas on Friday night, does the good job he does. Look
at that guy. Now it's a handoff. This is Cason. He'll gain about 5 yards up to his own 36. 5:15 and counting left in the game. Illinois State 43. Southwest Missouri 42. A reminder that 2-Win Sports Marketing of Northbrook, Illinois salutes the Gateway Football Conference and its distinguished members on another year of Division I AA athletic and academic excellence. In sports marketing, 2-win means you win too. 3rd and 5 for the Redbirds. Kevin Glenn fires and finds Garrett again over the middle. First down, Redbirds at the 50, a gain of 14 yards. It's been there all night.
Big play and a great read by the quarterback, Kevin Glenn. They had the running back on the swing pass again, and Southwest Missouri actually ran to him and opened up the curl for Ricky Garrett right there inside for the first down. Big play not only because it's a first down, but also keeps this clock moving for Illinois State.
James back in there now. Walter James is. SMS has seen an 18-point lead dissipate to a 1-point deficit. Big spread it out, but they give it to James up the middle. And he'll break a couple tackles. He'll gain about 7 yards on first down and has the ball into Bears territory.
And all they want to do now is keep that clock running. They are up by 1 point. They want to keep the ball on the ground, keep the chains moving, and keep the clock moving as well.
Glenn, 307 yards in passing, 3 touchdowns tonight, 27 of 39 passing the ball. 2nd and 3 now for the Birds. Clock moving at 3:40 left in the game. James stays in. SMS lining up with an even defensive front. James stopped by that Bear front. Taken down. Angelo Banks, the main Bear there to knock him back. And again, it'll be about 3rd and 5 for Illinois State.
Another big down coming up for Illinois State. If they can get this first down, then they can run out most of the remainder of the clock. If not, they give Southwest Missouri the ball with plenty of time left to go down and score and win the ball game.
Avion Cason back in for Illinois State. Again, the wind is a factor. The Redbirds.
And who do you think is going to get the ball here? Could it be number 4?
Yeah, right back there. Tucked into the right part of your screen. And guess who's got it? 4's got it. First down, Avion Cason.
And comes through for him once again. I don't think there was anyone in the entire stadium that didn't think that he was going to get the football. They run the option. Kevin Glenn forces the linebacker to commit to the quarterback and just pitches it outside to Avion Cason and lets him do the rest with his speed and agility.
And a nasty combination.
You see right there, when he turns north and south, and he gets that head of steam going, he is tough to bring down. And that was a big 3rd down play for Illinois State. All-purpose yards, look at that, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. That guy has done it all tonight, and he's not done yet.
Bootleg play, great call. Laurenti has it, trying to stay in bounds. Tackled inbounds at the 31. Clock moving at a shade over 2 minutes now left in the game. Illinois State, 13th ranked in the country in one poll, 11th in the other in 1AA, leading 43-42. And they pick up 7 yards, JC, keep the clock moving, and have 2nd and 3.
And that was the key. Stay in bounds and keep this clock moving. They're doing a good job of clock management also, because they're not hiking the ball until the clock is at 1 second. So they are milking that clock for all it's worth right now.
Randy Ball trying to figure out a way to stop Illinois State. Ceding his timeouts to use on offense, evidently. Handoff left side, James, first down, breaks a tackle, and out of bounds. It stops the clock. He gets to the 16. It is a first down, and stops the clock at 1:27 left in the game.
But it gives them a first down and a brand new set of downs.
And the Redbirds again with the wind at their back.
And you can see Randy Ball telling his defense to call timeout after the first play because they've got to get this clock stopped somehow. And Illinois State is not going to help them by throwing the ball and risking an incompletion.
Randy has to wonder what happened to his team, but you know what? It was just the opposite last year, although Randy was coaching Western Illinois at the time. First down and 10 for Illinois State. Lorena. That's in the motion behind Glenn. This is James. They're going to blow this play dead. P.J. Jones on the tackle. As it is going to be delay of game on Illinois State. And now with 1st and 15, SMS will be forced to use timeouts after this play, but it does set up a tough down and distance for Illinois State. And at the very least, Illinois State would want to get a field goal here, have a 4-point lead, with a 1-point lead now in 4th.
Dead ball, delay a game on the offense.
Yeah, it puts them in a tough yardage situation of 1st and 15, but also what it does, it ran 5 seconds off the clock, and that's really what Illinois State is concerned with right now, is trying to run as much time off that clock as possible.
The Birds are going to line up in the shotgun. Again, they spread the field.
You can expect quarterback draw or some sort of run out of this formation. I doubt it seriously if Illinois State is going to put the ball in the air and risk an incompletion, which stops the clock.
The referee just now running back onto the field. You see him enter the picture. And he's going to give us a word here. They put some time back on the game clock to 1:27. They put those 5 seconds right back on. What about draw? Glenn. Angling, wanting to stay in bounds, hanging on to the football. The Bears want to tackle and strip. They'll immediately call timeout. The Bears will, to stop the clock at 1:19. Left in the game, a 43-42 lead for Illinois State.
When Southwest Missouri gets a runner caught up like they had Kevin Glenn that time, they've got to try to strip that ball out of there, get the ball away from the ball carrier, get the ball back for their offense. They cannot sit back and try to let this Illinois State team either run out the clock or kick a field goal. They've got to be very aggressive and try to create a turnover and get their offense the ball.
We've seen Illinois State use the bootleg many times tonight, and that's almost a safe play here if the quarterback has a little room to run, or if he's forced to throw just a short pass. What you don't want to do, though, is stop the clock in any way, shape, or form here if you're Illinois State.
Exactly.
43-42 Redbirds. A field goal made by the Redbirds would force SMS to have to score a touchdown to win, and SMS going into the win. But we've seen rapid-fire points in this game, back and forth all night long. This is like world team tennis here. But Todd Berry has given Kevin Glenn the play.
And not only the play, he's also given him number 4. Mr. Kason is also back in the ball game.
Yeah, the other thing here is to score a touchdown and say goodnight. Then they're going to throw a check down pass. Kason's got it at the front. Tackle in bounds at the 14.
And that is the exact same play they ran for the touchdown. This time Mike Gailey does a good job of coming up and wrapping up Kason to prevent him from getting any additional yardage.
SMS was thinking about picking this off. Let's take a look at the replay. Because it was that check down pass, but SMS tried to get in the passing lane.
And you can see it, and they knew it was coming, and they tried to get out there, but those receivers are doing a great job of blocking out there
that leaves Gailey one-on-one with Kason again. And Kason actually gets tackled this time. Gailey does a good job, but you can see right here, it's one-on-one. And anytime Illinois State can get Kason one-on-one with anybody, I'm sure they like their odds, but that time Gailey came up big.
Mario Turner was blocked out of the play as a timeout called by the SMS Bears. The down and distance, it'll be 3rd and 8 for Illinois State. The ball is at the 14 with 70 seconds left in the game. And Kevin Glenn almost with a half limp as he walks out to the huddle. He was trying to stretch his back out on the play before. But you got to like this kid and what he does. Let's take a look at what's coming up here in a couple weeks. The Redbirds will be at home on our television game on the Gateway Football Conference, entertaining the pesky Sycamores of Indiana State. Then a week following, Western Illinois will host Southern Illinois. And then it'll be at the Unidome on the 23rd. Northern Iowa hosting the Penguins of Youngstown State. And then the Youngstown State Penguins will host these SMS Bears. Check your local listings for Gateway Conference football. Glenn is going to throw it. 3rd down and 8. Moving to the near side, he's going to run it. And he is going to go out of bounds. It stops the clock. He did not pick up a first down. It will be 4th and about 3. And a mistake by Kevin Glenn to go out of bounds, JC, because it stopped the clock, and it's still 4th down and short.
Big mistake, and that's about the only mental error he's made all night, but it couldn't come at a worse time. If he was going to go out of bounds or try to get the first down, he needs to stay in bounds. Just slide right there. Fall down. Keep the clock running. You know you're not going to get the first down. Keep the clock running. Make SMS use their last timeout. Instead, he steps out of bounds and stops the clock.
And they're going to try a field goal. Jake Strader. The long snapper is Mike Moore. As you take a look at Kevin Glenn on the sideline. This would give Illinois State a 4-point lead with 1:02 left in the game. The kick is good. 46-42. Illinois State with a 4-point lead. 1 minute left in the game. It goes as a 26-yard field goal officially. Randy Ball's over there clapping his hands because his team still has a chance.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of time left for this particular football team. There's a minute left. They've got to score to win the football game, but they're very capable of doing it.
And as Randy Ball huddles with his team on the sideline, they must have a touchdown. A field goal will not do it. Total yardage in the game is 1,001 yards. We're over 1,000 total yards in the game.
And I'll tell you what, Illinois State had better beware of Mr. Hewitt, number 22. They definitely don't want the ball in his hands at all on offense.
Again, the wind is at the back of Illinois State as you take a look at Jeff Hewitt. 2 touchdowns receiving tonight. Dante King will back to take the kick. Hewitt and Jay Rogers waiting for their chance to try to win the game. Illinois State has outscored Southwest Missouri in the 4th quarter, 22-0. 46-42 Illinois State. And this is where Strader needs to kick the ball deep and beyond the end zone to prevent a return, because we've seen some awesome returns tonight by both these teams.
He needs to kick this ball as far as he possibly can to not allow King or Fontaine a chance to return this kickoff.
Strader. King's going to take it. 5 yards deep. He's going to bring it out against the urging of his teammate Fontaine. Fontaine said stay home. He ran it out instead and got it to the 21. So basically the same as a touchback.
And he paid the price for that. Beto Golson really laid a lick on Dante King.
And it looked like a decent wedge was set.
He had a chance. We can take a look at the wedge right there. But he doesn't get there because he's 5 yards deep in the end zone, and the wedge is too far out in front of him. If he gets the ball anywhere closer and hits it, he's got a chance for a big gain.
Now, Southwest Missouri has a timeout they should not have because Kevin Glenn went out of bounds. And would have forced SMS to use their final timeout. Instead, the Bears still have one timeout to use on offense. They spread it out. Rogers, being blitzed, gets away from the blitzer. He's going to be hit, but he advances the ball to the 24. plus yardage. Devin Finn chasing him down. SMS going without a huddle. 41 seconds left in the game. 46-42 Illinois State. In the shotgun. Rogers. It's Chance Thurman. Trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
He doesn't get out. Yeah,
they call it late. And it is a first down. Out of bounds at the 32. 27 seconds left in the game. So he does pick up a first down and stops the clock.
They've got to get on the ball because the clock just stops to move the chains. They got the first down. Once they get set, they're going to wind the clock. Jay Rogers should be calling the play at the line of scrimmage, which he is.
Again out of the shotgun. Rogers wants to go to the sideline again. Again, Thurman makes the catch. He's up to the 40. Gains 10 yards and uses only 6 seconds. 46-42. Illinois State with the advantage.
They're doing a good job of taking what the defense is giving them. If the defense is going to sit back, you've got to take that quick 6, 7, 8 yard out, get out of bounds, stop the clock, and line up again. What Illinois State's corners can't do is suck up on one of those and get beat on the out and up.
Illinois State showing a deep cover 4 type look in a 4 deep zone. Out of the shotgun. This time Rogers wants to go deep. And he cannot find his man. In and out of the hands of Tacoma Fontaine, who had both hands on the ball, JC, and couldn't draw it into his body.
And he ran a great corner route that time. Should have came up with the catch. The ball was right there and should have been caught. But he ran a tremendous route, sold the post, and broke back out on the corner and was wide open.
Rogers, 306 yards passing. Both of these quarterbacks are over 300 yards in passing. 46-42. Illinois State with the lead. 15 seconds left in the game now. 3rd down and 2. Over the middle, Rogers has it. Complete for a first down.
And they've got
Sean Adams with the catch.
They've got to get on the ball. And they take their final timeout, I believe.
Now, here again is a timeout that they shouldn't have had because Kevin Glenn did not stay in bounds. And it gives them a chance to go deep and throw it to the end zone for a Hail Mary try with 7 seconds left, or maybe time to throw it deep out to the boundary and then try to the end zone.
And that shows you just how important being heady and staying in the ball game mentally is, because if Kevin Glenn stays in bounds, they have no timeouts left. This clock runs out, the game would be over.
So it's 1st and 10. We're on the verge of smashing records here tonight as both teams huddling, trying to figure out this final 7 seconds. There have been 3 different games decided on the final play of the game in Gateway Conference history. 1986, Eastern Illinois beat Northern Iowa. 1995, when Northern Iowa beat Southwest Missouri State on a field goal. 1997, Southwest Missouri State, a Travis Bronner field goal of 33 yards. But SMS must find the end zone. They trail 46-42.
And they've got to go in the end zone or throw the ball out of bounds quickly to stop the clock.
Rogers to throw. Left founder and overthrows his man. Incomplete. 3 seconds left, and now they must throw a Hail Mary to the end zone into the wind.
They've got 1 shot left, and they have got to get in the end zone with 3 seconds left to go in the ball game.
Rogers has a strong arm. Many times in this instance, JC, they'll try to get a guy to jump up and maybe tip it to one of their guys.
And that's exactly what Illinois State has to defend against. There's always a jumper and there's a trailer, and they just want the jumper to get up and tip the ball and give the other 2 receivers a chance to come down with it.
This is the final play of the game. 46-42, Illinois State. Southwest Missouri is going to win it or lose it right here. Rogers is an unblocked rusher. He's throwing for the end zone. There's no Bears there. It is intercepted in the end zone, and the 13th ranked Illinois State Redbirds are going to come out of here with a victory. And they trailed at one point, 42-24. Ryan Zakola with the interception in the end zone. And what a game to start our Gateway Conference football television coverage.
What a ball game, and none better to emphasize the point that you are never out of it until the clock says 0-0.
All right, 46-42. Illinois State wins on the road. We'll have final comments from here in Springfield after this.